Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
Welcome, everybody, to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, along with G. Bush, and later we'll be joined by Dustin Fox. I'm Adam the Bull. There's the empty seat that will be Dustin in a little bit. We've got Mike, we've got Steve, we've got Anthony and Earl all here today on a Wednesday. It's cold, it's windy, it's cloudy, it's snowy. Dustin's waving because he's late.
Dude, I'll beat you.
What happened to
I
you?
beat you here.
I know that, but would you fall in the toilet?
I mean, you're going.
You have
to
a stomach too, don't you?
I mean,
Man, you dropped the deuce that quick, huh?
I mean, you just going to comment.
Impressive. That's actually impressive.
You going to comment on that man's stomach?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Do we need to have details about my bathroom
about the deuce drops?
situation?
Like, that's
Listen,
crazy.
we're all men. Men talk about bathroom habits.
I mean,
Okay,
it's
well,
all right.
well, it wasn't going to happen, and then all of a sudden
it
did.
And then you had an emergency
Yeah.
situation. G. Bush,
We
you're in like, what do you call that outfit?
Huh?
What do you call that outfit? Do you have a name for it? I feel like you have a name for all your
Sponsored by
outfits.
Levi's.
Man, this is devastating denim.
Devastating denim.
Denim
The shoes
kicks.
match. The hat
You know what I'm
matches.
saying? I got the kicks. You know what I'm saying?
The shirt matches. The undershirt.
Yeah, I mean,
You got it all together.
You know what I'm saying? We're just trying to coordinate a little
Some
bit.
Air Max 90s? What
Yeah,
is it?
the little Air Max 90s with a, you know what I'm saying, the denim 90s. You know what I'm saying? A little something.
I mean,
Like-
it would really be funny if.
I like those ones you had.
Oh, boy.
He showed me them yesterday. I like them.
I feel like it would be really funny if I started dressing like G. Bush.
Look at these things.
It would be very funny.
I don't know.
They're like
if you-
cleats.
They're made for the ice and snow of Ohio.
Yeah,
that's
I like
good.
them. He showed me them
Good.
yesterday. I like those. You got some black ones too.
Oh, in the glacier blue.
Yeah, you know.
I got 3 colorways.
Now, Bull, I don't know if you can get that off. Like,
You don't think I can get off wearing your
You
outfits?
can't get that off, Bull.
you
I can't wear that?
Nah. you
Why
can't.
not?
Y'all, ain't no white person ever had no matching denim up.
It would be tough for me to pull this off.
Yeah, come on, bro. You can't wear this. Like, can you imagine going to
I-
And I try to like
It would
push the envelope a
But it
little
would be
bit.
funny if I wore that.
you imagine
Oh, yeah.
It would be
going
funny.
to your in-laws' house like wearing this? They'd be like, bro.
Why my in-laws don't care? They're
I
not
mean,
judgmental people.
But they would be like, Adam, are you going through some things? Like,
You're having a midlife crisis.
Yeah, are you talking
Why don't you just
about
buy a convertible instead?
Yeah, like even like I told Steve, I said, bro, y'all can't have like I got a Jesus. First of all, obviously you guys wouldn't wear Jesus pieces.
I could wear a big Jewish
I'll wear a
star.
Jesus piece.
Well, he
Oh,
can wear
yeah.
a Jesus.
Hey.
I could wear. I was thinking about getting a Jewish star anyway. Everybody's always wearing their religious jewelry. I'm
Jerry
gonna get a
Judy?
nice Jewish
Yeah.
star.
Jerry
So-
Judy?
Yeah, I know, which is weird.
McNuggets, that ain't in the community. Could a Jewish person wear a Jesus piece?
No.
I mean, in the sense of fashion,
No.
they could, but it'd be looked at very oddly.
No.
Yeah, but what do
No,
you-
I wear a big Jewish star.
Okay, you get out of Star
Star
David.
David?
Yeah.
You could have a Star David.
So there you go. I mean, I don't even. Where would I go to get an outfit like that? Where do I go? Because I really think it would be funny. Maybe not that outfit.
There's probably about 5 of them at the local mall that you wonder how they're still in business.
Yeah, there's always you go to the mall. And
Yeah.
you could get them. First of all, you.
I
Could
go
get
to the mall in North Olmsted
No,
sometimes.
here's what we should do.
K&G.
Here's what we should do.
You
G.
can get them from. You can get this outfit from anywhere in the mall. You can
Yeah.
get this outfit. You can get this outfit on the internet, bro. You could get a Temu, a Shein,
Yeah.
a Shein joint. You can get a lot. You get what is it? No, Fashion Nova. You can get that. So you
get
get
that
a
at
Yeah.
DTLR?
Well, what you gotta do
Yep.
is you have to give G. Bush an allowance
Yeah.
and your measurements.
No, but I want to
And-
go. I want to be part of the
'cause
process.
G's mom is the one who does a lot of the
Yeah.
Did your
shopping.
mom buy this, or you bought it yourself?
I actually bought this, but my mom, when I'm looking for something,
Yeah.
like that's like that I can't describe, I'll
Yeah.
be like, yeah, I want this.
We should do
And then she'll
like
go
we
get
should
it.
record this. Me going shopping with you and your mom
Yeah, that'd
Oh,
be
yeah.
crazy. Now
for
here's
cool clothes.
Here's the thing about if you go shopping with my mom, she
Yeah.
kind of has OCD. So
Yeah.
she's gonna, because you have different dimensions.
Yeah.
And your pants got to be a different. She's gonna want you to try everything on.
All right, my mom used to do that when I was a kid, so
You gotta
I could flash back to
yeah,
that.
try everything on, and then
Yeah.
you're gonna go to like 5 stores.
All right. I mean, it's one day in my life. I'll do it.
We're gonna go. Listen, that actually would be fun.
Yeah.
And we could do that. Now I am planning on shooting this. I'm gonna go. I don't know if I'm gonna go to where he's gonna go, but me and Dustin, we're gonna go shoe shopping, right? And it's gonna be funny because I'm gonna go planning on buying some shoes.
Yeah.
But they probably won't have mine in my size. So Dustin will get all the shoes.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah. By the way, go ahead.
it's
Sorry.
tough. No, I was going to say I can buy them. And my feet are pretty big too. But
Just want you to know how much I'm looking out for you.
Yeah.
Now you're 14, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I almost copped a pair of shoes for you the other day at the store because the only size they had was 14.
Just the thought that counts.
But I knew you already had them,
Right,
Because you already had the Houston 11s.
Yeah.
But they had the only size at JD's was in 14, and I was like, "This." See, I'm a good friend. I know my friend's shoe
That is
sizes.
an
That's
odd
crazy
thing that they would only have that size.
They're sold
Why
out.
is that?
Sold out of every other size.
So and that's an uncommon size.
It's an uncommon size.
Yeah.
When you used to have to wait in line, so I used to call every single shoe store. So I used to back then, when you plan, you wear a size larger because you play in them or whatever. But so I would 14 or 15. So I would call every single Champs, every single Dick's Sporting Good, and I would pull up the day of, and be like, I know you got a 14. Please put them back for me. So that's how we would get them. But back then it was only 1 or 2 guys. So if you only got 1 or 14, you knew you was battling some dude. Shout out to Ellery Moore. He was
Ellery Moore played football.
Yeah, Ellery Moore. He played for Massillon. He used to always.
Yes.
He always. We wore the same shoe size. He went to Mass. He played defensive.
Did you go D1?
Yeah, he committed to Penn State. Then he played at Kentucky.
That's right.
And so I was just like, hey, listen, I cannot let Ellery get these kicks. So I would pull up early. So
you were battling him
every time, all the time. So how it was.
All right.
But I appreciate
lot
that.
to get to.
Before we dive in, though,
Yeah.
I did give you guys a little homework yesterday based off a super chat we got.
Yeah.
They asked us to react to a video that you guys hadn't seen.
Well, I think G had seen it.
G had seen it. You and Dustin had it. I sent you guys the video.
Right.
Real quick, we're going to dive in 3 minutes, but thoughts on the Leah Cammarano video that the super chatter yesterday asked us to watch.
It was just so silly. I don't know why anybody would take that seriously.
Yeah.
We have reached a place in society, clearly, in sports, politics, everything, where facts don't matter. People just believe whatever they want to believe. Somebody throws something up on the internet, it gets a lot of views, and then people assume it's reality, when a lot of times that's not the case. 10 seconds into the video, I hear her say, well, they benched Shedeur Sanders. And she was talking about the play where they took him out on the 4th down.
Yeah.
Just the fact that you would use that terminology means you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He wasn't benched. That's not being benched.
Right.
And anybody that knows football knows that's not being benched. The stats she used, I was told, are completely either misleading or flat out not true, some of the stuff she used. There was no sourcing on it. It was like she just created a graph. And it didn't matter. It's just silly. It's all silly.
I
got a great take for this. We're gonna show them.
No, I was not going to play the video because I feel like it.
No, it's not worth it.
Propaganda.
She doesn't deserve credibility.
Propaganda.
So here, I'll get it. So this is. I've always told people like this, man. This is what happens when you got statistics, right? So when you got stats, right? When you got a certain level of stats and you use the stats to prove what you want, there's going to be an equal opposite toe, right? So I think the video that she had came out after the whole EPA thing. So the video comes out and the EPA stat comes out and the internet goes crazy. So I think her original video comes after the EPA video. And I guess in this video, they ain't showing it, but in the video she talks about pressure rate, some of the different things that compared Dylan Gabriel to Shedeur Sanders. She did say in the video that Shedeur was taken out, which is not, he benched. He was just not on the field during that play. Mm-hmm. So you could tell she's not, somebody else, I asked her, I played the video in the barbershop, and I said, well, look, here's how I go about it. I don't know what the data is. See, I came from business school, so I don't know.
Her data's not even accurate.
I don't know where her data points come from. I don't know.
Right, but why would you play it if you don't know she's accurate?
Well, here's the thing. Here's what I'm going to tell you about statistics. So when we talked about EPA and we talked about those other things, when you say that somebody is the worst quarterback in 100 years based on one statistic,
Yeah.
I said this in UCSS. That's misleading statistically, because you got to take outliers. You got to also take different things. You got to figure out. We need to see the data. And one thing about the EPA is, I was like, so where we go look EPA up at? Where can we look that up? What goes into it?
Yeah.
Nobody couldn't tell me what goes into it. It says a bunch of things. So I said,
I'm sure somebody knows what goes into it. I'm sure if we asked TA
knows.
he would know what goes into it.
So this is my problem when I've
But that's a stat that everybody in football uses.
What I'm saying is,
Yeah.
when you're talking about statistics
Yeah.
and you can't point to them and you say, all right, well, let me go where EPA at, and
Yeah.
you use one statistic to say somebody is the worst or the best or terrible, you can't take that in a vacuum. So statistics can say anything you want to say. I can come up with 5 different things when it comes to stats to prove that either Shedeur Sanders is garbage, or I can come up with 16 different things to say Shedeur Sanders is the greatest quarterback of all time.
No, you can't. You can't do that.
Why can't
Because
I?
there are no stats that say he's the greatest quarterback.
See, that's the point.
Yeah.
That's incorrect. So here's the
No, it's not. How can that be incorrect?
So you telling me you can find stats that say he's the worst quarterback?
I'm not saying. I never said he was the worst quarterback.
No,
and I don't even know that Jason said it was the worst quarterback of all time
But
on
I'm
EPA. But it's one stat.
It's one stat.
It's a valuable stat that people look at. No stat is perfect.
Well, I'm just saying you can't. But
Before, if it were anybody else but Shedeur Sanders, there'd be no controversy about it.
Well, no,
it's only because it's Shedeur Sanders.
No. People,
there's a difference. There's a difference between a real stat EPA and stats that are made up.
Well, here's the thing. When you talk,
and by the way, why are you comparing to Dylan Gabriel anyway? Nobody thinks Dylan Gabriel's any good. He stinks.
Well, listen. The reality of the situation is we talk about one stat versus one stat.
No, it's not one stat. What stat is legit? That like.
So first of all, we're not showing the video. So
right, but you don't even know if her stats are accurate.
But my thing is, if you talk about EPA, how do I know those are accurate?
Because it's a widely. What do you mean it's not accurate?
What I'm saying is not. What I'm saying to you
is one was done by the NFL or whoever runs. So and the other was done by some random girl on the internet. That's a big difference.
What I'm saying to you is overall.
Yeah.
You know what this proved? This proved this. When you have a stat, you can have a stat without context that can be misleading.
That's correct. But that's not the case in EPA.
So, but here's the thing. When you're using EPA, at that time they use EPA as a catchphrase, a catch-all. As, I got this one thing that says this guy isn't good. When you use...
No, it doesn't say he's not good. It says he hasn't been good in those 7 games.
No, he
doesn't
said
mean he's not good. Won't be good in the future.
The quote was, he's one of the worst of all time.
Based on that statistic, yes.
Okay, so
that doesn't mean in the future he's going to be the worst.
But here's the thing. But what
Yeah.
I'm saying is, you can't use one stat to say that. But if somebody else brings up another stat that says, "Hey, he's good at X, Y, and Z," you say that don't count.
Right, but nobody did that. She didn't do that. She just compared him to Dylan Gabriel.
So if we're sitting here arguing about the video, right?
It's stupid because the video is nonsense.
I don't know what we're doing here.
I
don't know what we're arguing about or what's going on here.
It ain't even an argument. All I'm saying is this.
Seems like it.
But gee, she didn't put any stats out. First of all, there's no. She just got. I don't know if she just made up some of these stats or whatever. So, she has no credibility. She has no football background.
So this is what I'm saying.
You're comparing a league used stat versus some random person on the internet.
What I'm saying to you is you're not listening.
I am listening.
You're not listening.
Go ahead.
What I am saying to you is when you're looking at statistical data, if you take one piece of information and you try to extrapolate and make a very big, broad conclusion based off a very small sample size, in statistics, you can take numbers and you can make them be anything that you want. They can be misleading. There's a lot of different ways you can cut and slice things. I've always said to you that stats do play a role in it. You look at stats, you put them in context, you use them as a broader tool to examine whether or not a player is playing well or not. The problem is that we take stats and we extrapolate them in a very small sample size to make overarching themes. Either way,
who does that? I don't do that.
I'm not saying again.
You know what I'm saying? So
But again, Bull, I'm not. I'm just.
But
saying,
I'm telling you're comparing a real statistic versus something that we don't know if it's even true or
One more
not.
minute, we gotta move on. 1 minute.
Go ahead, Mike.
No,
What was that?
I'm
Go
not.
ahead.
I'm not. What I'm
Go ahead.
saying is, I'm not talking about the real statistics for
Yeah.
anything. What I'm saying, there is a danger in taking one statistic, looking too far into it, and then making an overarching theme in a small sample size on either that side or that side.
There's a bigger danger in people making stuff up and starting conspiracy theories like Kevin Stefanski wanted Shedeur Sanders to fail. That's beyond asinine. There's no legitimate reason to believe Kevin Stefanski wanted Shedeur Sanders to fail. It makes no sense whatsoever. You could argue with how you could say he handled him poorly. You could say he didn't do the best job getting the best out of him. Those things are reasonable to argue. You could disagree.
I think,
to say there was some conspiracy theory to hurt Shedeur Sanders that's dangerous because there's no facts that back that up.
I think that overall, when we talk, I think more people are salty about the allegation of sabotage. At the end of the day, Kevin Stefanski, as we will talk about it through the show, it wasn't just Shedeur Sanders people who feel Kevin Stefanski sabotaged people.
Yes, it is.
No, there's people who don't have good relationships with Kevin Stefanski besides Shedeur Sanders.
Speaking of social media, did you guys see last night what Baker Mayfield said?
That's what I'm going to.
Well, Baker Mayfield doesn't get along with anybody.
But I'm just saying. So it's just not people. There's a lot of people who thinks that Kevin Stefanski is not above board when it comes to communicating with people.
Well, we're going to get into the whole
But
Baker.
Speaking of lack of communication.
There are no facts that back up their sabotage of Shedeur Sanders, and it's just silly and irresponsible for people to say that, in my opinion.
With that, we got some real topics to dive into.
Yeah.
We'll get to the Baker Mayfield-Stefanski situation in a little bit. We got to start with the latest in the Browns coaching search. It's brought to us by FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are here. FanDuel's in playoff mode, making every playoff game day a chance for you to win more money with a profit boost pack that's waiting for you inside the app. Make your picks, then apply the profit boost to get even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. Just visit FanDuel.com, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every single NFL playoff game day.
You know, that felt like who's on first, what's on second when you guys were going back and forth because it was like, we're going to move on.
Let's just move on.
No, we are.
Move on.
We are.
Moving on. Whether it was a
We
good
got
argument.
a update yesterday.
There was nothing good about it.
The Browns wanted to bring in for a second head coaching interview. We now know that Mike McDaniel has rejected the Browns and other teams taking the Chargers' offensive coordinator position, which means the Browns are now down to 5 second interview requests. They've completed it with Jim Schwartz and Todd Monken. McDaniel said, no, thank you. I'm going to L.A. Jesse Minter scheduled for his second interview tomorrow. Grant Udinsky, who now Buffalo has requested for a head coaching interview. He'll have his second interview with Cleveland on Friday, and then Nate Shieldhouse will interview at some point after the Rams.
Let me tell you why Jim Schwartz is a terrible choice, Mike and guys.
Wait. We want to start with Schwartz. First of all, what do you make of McDaniel turning down the Browns and other
Who
opportunities?
cares? Whatever. I didn't want him anyway. Anybody care that Mike McDaniel turned it down?
Do you think it says anything about the state of the position?
It's definitely worthy of a talking point. The fact that the guy is not going to take a head coaching job here to go be an OC with Harbaugh.
But he turned down other teams too.
He did the Raiders and Ravens. He was still in
I think it's a smart move by him. Go be an OC. Don't rush into another head coaching job. He turned down who? The Raiders and who?
The Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, look, if I were him, I would have talked to the Ravens, but not the other two.
Yeah, I mean, look, he may just want to have some time to get back to being an OC, call the plays, not have to do the press conferences every week where everyone makes fun of you. Like, that's it wears on you. So I'm not surprised that maybe he's doing that. I just think that it just shows that the job's not appealing. I mean, someone's going to take the job because someone's going to want $5 million a year to coach a football team and think that they are going to be able to turn this thing around, and maybe it's Udinsky or somebody else. I don't know who it's going to be, but I just think it just speaks volumes to the fact that somebody doesn't even want to do a second interview with you to even see what you got is sort of telling kind of where we're at. It doesn't mean that they're not going to find the right guy, but it is definitely like newsworthy.
Listen, Mike McDaniel, I think when he rejected the Cleveland Browns to go do, and take the offensive coordinator position. Look, man, like he got to do. There's certain times at certain points in your life that you got to do what's best for you. Sometimes that move is not necessarily stepping to the forefront. Sometimes it's a move to step back a little bit. Like, he looking at it, I just came out of a tumultuous thing with the Dolphins. I want to come back in and get my feet wet. I want to do it in a situation where I might like the head coach. And I feel like if I could get myself together, I could catapult myself, learn around some new people, put myself back in a position so the next time I got 2-3 years of good offensive coordinator, good work under my belt, now I can learn some stuff, rehabilitate myself, and go somewhere else where I could be more successful. And the next time I wanted to be a head coach. Sometimes, when you have a bad taste in your mouth from being a head coach and all this stuff is on you, the pressure is on you, it wears on you a little bit. Sometimes you want to just take a step back and say, I'm going to step out of the limelight, I'm going to call plays and get back to football. So for me, maybe it was a timing thing. Maybe we wasn't ready to jump right back into the fire, kind of like Mike Tomlin, who said, look, I'm going to take a little bit of time off. I'm going to leave the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to go do some TV or whatever the case may be. I'll reevaluate it. So, hey, Mike McDaniel said, listen, I already know what I'm going to do. Let's go that route. But, I've always said I want somebody that wants to take the job.
Yeah. What are the other two that he turned down? You guys said
Baltimore and the Raiders. And that's why, as much as I as much as I often pound the Browns when they deserve it, in this case I don't think they do, because the fact that he turned down an interview with the Ravens says this has nothing to do with him thinking the Browns' job stinks or not. It's that he decided he's better off being an assistant coach right now, I think. Because why would you the Ravens' job is fantastic. Outside of the Bills, it's or maybe even better than the Bills. It's certainly one or two. So, he clearly doesn't want to be a head coach right now for whatever reason.
Yeah.
One thing I
was gonna say, well, maybe he just likes warm weather.
Maybe he likes
because
warm weather.
he was in San Fran, which it's a little bit get cold, but it's Miami.
Yeah.
And then now he's back to California.
Yeah, right. That's true.
The one thing with Baltimore, I'm curious. I believe Baltimore interviewed 16 candidates in their first round of interviews.
Really?
And I believe it was the most of any team. They requested and conducted the most first round interviews. And I wonder if, and I'm just speculating. I wonder if he thought this process is going to take so long, I may or may not get Baltimore, even though at the end of the day that may be the perfect job for me. I don't want to miss out on other head coaching or offensive coordinator.
Man. There's 6 open jobs. I think McDaniel would have had a decent shot.
I'm just asking.
It's possible. Maybe he heard through his agent that he's not the favorite at any place, or who knows. But let me tell you why I don't want Mike McDaniel and Jim Schwartz, and I'll do a shout-out to our guy, Cleve TA.
Okay.
Jim Schwartz's winning percentage in Detroit was what, Mike?
He was 29-51.
Would you say that's under a 40 winning percentage, 400?
Yeah.
It feels about, yeah.
Yeah, so no head coach that had a 400. Now, again, is this cause and effect? Who knows? It's a track record. In the last 25 years, no coach that had a winning percentage under 400 in his first coaching job and got a second opportunity had success. Not one. The best record of any coach in that scenario was the guy was 500. I can't remember who it is now. And most of the rest of them were terrible. So, again, does it 100% mean Jim Schwartz is going to fail? No. But the track record of coaches that have a terrible first stint, terrible, an under 400 winning percentage is terrible. The second time around, they almost always do terrible again. Now, it's not a huge sample. There's not a million coaches in that. But even if you go to even if you just go to guys who got fired since 2000, the last 25 years, guys who got fired and had a losing record, period, even if it was just under 500, and then got a second opportunity, I believe only one of 20-something guys in that scenario had success at the next stop. So most second, and I was in favor of Flores, and I still think Flores can be a good coach, but most guys that don't succeed their first time around don't succeed the second time around. Almost always.
Here's why this case is a little bit different. It's in the details. Jim Schwartz, his last time he was a coach was 12 years ago. 12 years is a lifetime in football. 12 years is longer than some people have even been a coach, period. So in those 12 years, he's had an opportunity. I think did he win a Super Bowl in Philadelphia?
He did.
He won a Super Bowl as a coordinator in Philadelphia. He came to Cleveland, helped turn around the Browns in terms of what they were defensively, The Browns defense has been the best it's been since they came back under Jim Schwartz. And there's a bunch of different things that you can learn in 12 years. The man that Jim Schwartz was when in 2013 is decades ago. Like, he's learned, he's grown, his philosophy on life has probably changed. I know how many people that we look around, I'm not who I was when I was 5 years ago, let alone 12 years ago. I mean, I was not hireable in certain circumstances. So, so the thing is, Dustin, to me, yes, is it a gamble? Yeah, sure. I would like to have a Harbaugh or a Tomlin or one of the guys who had a great opportunity and had a great track record, had a good roster, good culture, good ownership, all that. I would love it. But if those people aren't available, what I have to do is I have to look at the pool of candidates that's left to me and say, which one of these candidates do I think gets the most out of my team and is best for the situation we have today? I think he can grow in 12 years. Is it a guarantee? No. But if I look at his resume and say I had a guy who's been in locker rooms with great coaches, around great players, the players here like him, I got to take that in consideration to a certain extent.
Yeah, I think it's a good point, Garrett. The guy has certainly, it's been a long time since he's been a head coach. And to your point, 1,000% agree that you can grow and change. Like, I'm a different person today than I was 10 years ago, completely different person. Maybe unhireable too.
Right.
But
we was moving around back then, Dustin.
Yeah,
I don't even know.
but in all seriousness, I mean, listen, I'm not going to sit here and say Jim Schwartz is my favorite candidate, that they need to hire him. Bull does not want him to be hired by the Browns. Mm-hmm. I think that every coach that is getting an interview, and whoever they hire deserves a chance, a fair shake.
That's it.
And that's where I'm at with it. I think it's going to be an uphill battle for whoever takes the job. Schwartz has been here. He's had a good defense. I like that. But he was, to one of Bull's points, he was part of the problem, I guess, to some degree. I mean,
right.
He won 5 games this year. Got your head coach fired.
Yeah, you can't. And by the way, you can't run from that. Like, obviously, when it's a team game, everybody that is in that locker room owns the record. Your record is what your record is. Mm-hmm. And he has to own, to a certain extent, some of that. And I think he will answer for that, and he needs to answer for some of that in the interviewing process. Because, hey, if you were here when all this stuff was going on, I need to know to me, as a guy interviewing you, I want to know what you thought you could have done better. What are some things that you thought worked, and what are some things that you would change that you had a role in the record too? So for me, he has to answer to that a little bit too. But I can say that individuals, just like we'll talk about Kevin Stefanski later on in the show. Hey, just because Kevin Stefanski did what Kevin Stefanski did here does not mean he can't be a different coach or learn from what he did in another place. Go look at Dick Vermeil and some of the other guys who had an opportunity to come back and have some success.
And we'll see. Kevin Stefanski fits the category I'm talking about also, of a coach with a losing record. By the way, of the 16 coaches that had a losing record in their first stop and got a second opportunity, as I mentioned, 15 of the 16 were a game over 500 or worse in their second stop. So no real success. There was one coach, I think it was Gary Kubiak, had great success the second time. That was the only one. Of those 16, 12 of them were out at least 7 years between stops. So that's not dissimilar to Schwartz. And some of them were as long as Schwartz, if not longer, and none of them really had success. So listen, because it happened with 16 other guys, does it mean it's going to happen with Schwartz? No, of course not, but that is a track record that's a lot of guys who have failed and then failed again.
I think I was talking to Sean King last night on the barbershop, and he said something. He was talking about how C.J. Stroud struggles a little bit. And I asked him, does he want an offensive-minded head coach or a defensive-minded head coach? And he went on to say, sometimes in the case of like C.J. Stroud, when you have a defensive head coach, if you have an offensive head coach on the sideline, they serve as almost a psychologist, because if it's their offense, so to speak, and they're offensive minded. So when the quarterback is struggling throwing interceptions, he can pull them aside and say, listen, calm down. Mm-hmm. We're gonna do this. We'll figure this out. And because they got the way they think and see the football game. But when you have a defensive coordinator, sometimes Those guys is just in the weed, like, let's go get the ball back.
Yeah.
And you're kind of on an island a little bit. So the infrastructure for an offensive guy is a little more important. So if you do got Jim Schwartz, I think the most important thing is he serves as a principal. He wants, hey, guys, you know me. Y'all ain't going to play no games with me. Y'all on defense, I need y'all to hold up your end of the bargain. We ain't going to play no games. But offensively, the most important position for me with this quarterback room is I need a offensive dude that's in the weeds that can elevate. And I think that's even more of an important position. You hire Jim Schwartz, that's cool. But who you got as coordinator is the $1 million question.
But if you, for the most part, if the play caller on offense is not the head coach, he's usually up in the box, right? Isn't that the case?
Depends.
Most of the time?
Depends on how they – I would like to see the play call. I think for me –
Because then he still can't do. I mean, you could talk on the headsets, but
I need somebody hands-on. I want, like, especially with this quarterback room, and assuming that they don't make any moves. Even if they do make a move and bring a young guy, that's still another young quarterback in there. I want somebody. That's why I like Udinski. To me, I like the way he can explain the game. I like the way that he has fresh and innovative
As
ways.
head
He thinks.
coach?
No. Coordinator.
Okay.
That's the point too. I think Udinski might be a guy in 2 to 3 years that really can do some things. And if you got him on the roster right now and you think you want to bring him along, how old is Jim Schwartz?
60s.
60 some. Listen, if you think Udinski's the guy in 2 years, you hire him now. You just hire him now.
That's a tough situation. That's a tough ask, though.
That's silly.
Because
it's
But
just
if you think he's gonna be the guy in 2 years, well, either Jim Schwartz does well and he gets poached by somebody else because you're not going to replace Schwartz with him, or just like we're here now, you clean house again, and you're looking for an outside option. If you think Udinski's the guy, you just have to hire
I
him.
guess. I mean, yeah, but
I just don't. Here's the thing I got with this. Y'all think this year going to be crazy. Oh, this next year is crazy this year. If you go back, you're going to come into next year, right? Y'all ain't even heard from Deshaun Watson in how many years?
It's been a while.
Oh, he talking this year. He's on the field. He's competing. And if you keep Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson, if you thought that the press was crazy, if you thought all that was crazy, you're going to have to be a very strong individual and understand, very savvy as a first-time head coach to deal with those level questions, right? Hey, Deshaun, do you think you're a franchise quarterback? Deshaun, what's your relationship with Shedeur Sanders? Deshaun, do you think you only lost your position because you got hurt? Do you feel like Shedeur, what's your relationship with Deshaun Watson? Shedeur, do you think, like, are you guys compete?
Well, all those things you just said is the exact reason why they both shouldn't be here
Hey,
for a new coach to deal with.
But-
especially a first-time head coach.
what other choice do you have?
But what choice you got?
Well, if you believe in ESPN bold prediction, which we're talking about
Okay.
next, you could find another guy in there. Hit the like button, guys. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you follow us on social media, Instagram, TikTok, X. You can find us at Oakley Sports. We appreciate all the support. Hitting the like button costs $0.00. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Guys, ESPN put out their NFL executive bold predictions for the upcoming season. These are
NFL
from-
executive, not ESPN prediction.
No, these are ESPN reporters who talked to NFL executives who
Gotcha.
gave them bold predictions. The most bold was Lamar Jackson gets traded to Vegas. And down the list, you could find one that said either Cleveland or Miami will bring in Malik Willis this summer. The new general manager in Miami and their new head coach both come from Green Bay, where Malik Willis played this season. But we're not the Ultimate Miami Sports Show. We're the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. So, Dustin,
Yes.
where do you fall on the Malik Willis debate? If the Browns were somehow to bring in Malik Willis via free agency this summer, would he be an upgrade over what they currently have in the quarterback room? Or have you not seen enough and believe it's way too early to be able to make any kind of determination on what kind of quarterback Malik Willis actually is?
I mean, I saw this guy play a couple of quarters this year, and that was against the Ravens. The game he started that game, I believe, right?
He's started one game this year, played in 4. He started 6 in his career. He's thrown 155 NFL passes in 4 years.
Yeah. Can I say that he's an upgrade? No. I can't say he's an upgrade because I don't know. I mean, he's barely played. Like Bull just said, 6 starts. I mean,
Yeah.
Shedeur's got 7, right?
Right. Shedeur started more games
basically,
than Malik Willis has.
if you want to bring him in here to compete, sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider that no crazy upgrade. Like that, it's just, again, like you talk about it, we're looking at sample size. 6 games, he was a 3rd round pick, you know what I'm saying? Has some athletic traits. I liked him coming out of Liberty. But if you feel like that is an upgrade, I don't see where that's coming from. I mean, it's a long shot, bro.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to end up most likely with Hafley in Miami.
Right.
Unless somebody says we're just going to overpay based off of what they think he's going to be, or because they don't want him to go to Miami and end up with Hafley. That's the only way he gets paid by somebody else. I mean, no one's going to pay him off production. The production's not there.
I think if you're the Browns, bringing in another quarterback to compete, like you already have a messy situation. Why make it messier? I'm not bringing in another quarterback unless I'm fairly confident he's going to be my starter. And I don't see that guy being out there right now. Like, could Malik Willis turn into a decent quarterback? Why not? Sure he could. But so could Shedeur Sanders. I don't know that I might as well stick with Shedeur Sanders rather than Malik Willis. To me, they're both equally like, it's possible. We don't know. I don't know. Like, I'm not saying Malik Willis can't be good. I'm not saying Shedeur Sanders can't be good. Deshaun Watson, I think, is at this point might be the biggest long shot because he has, even though he's been obviously way more accomplished than those guys, he hasn't been good in 5 years. It'll be 6 years by next year. So they're all like question marks. I don't want to bring in a third question mark. I'm not interested in that.
I just think right now, like, this is what happens sometimes when you talk yourself. You know, when people tell you, like, yeah, this is the year they're going to switch the quarterback. This is the year we're going to find the quarterback. Sometimes it don't work out that way. It looks like the quarterback is not going to be in this 26 class. There's a 1 quarterback class. You look at your roster, and you got Shedeur Sanders, who is a guy who you need some seasoning, a dude who you need to put some stuff around and to continue to see him grow. If you want a reclamation project or you want somebody to see if you can kick the tires, you got one of the most expensive reclamation projects in Deshaun Watson sitting right there. He has guaranteed money, and it's not coming off the books in any way. By the way, if you want a guy that you can see or you got a backup, Dylan Gabriel's still there. They used a 3rd round pick on him. The uncomfortable thing that people just got to come to conclusion with is it looks like the Cleveland Browns are pretty much going to have the same quarterback room.
I don't think so because, I mean,
I'm just looking for.
There may be something that we're not thinking about.
Maybe.
We weren't thinking about Deshaun Watson when they traded for him.
So if
I don't know what's going to happen, but I can't imagine it's going to be the same quarterback.
If
room.
I had to look at the tea leaves, I'm just looking at it. They done already said they're not getting rid of Watson's contract.
Well, they haven't said that. They didn't say that. It's been reported.
I mean, I just look.
The only way I'd bring in Malik Willis is if I was getting rid of either Watson or Sanders. Otherwise, I don't see any point in bringing him in.
Here's the thing. I'm not taking a cap hit to take Malik Willis, and I don't even know if he's better than Deshaun Watson.
Right. It does. Right.
I don't know.
I don't know. I just can't imagine that it's going to be the same 3 quarterbacks next year. I don't know what's going to happen. There may be something we're not even thinking about, but I'll be surprised in the end if it is.
I'm surprised Malik Willis is getting as much buzz as he has from some people around the league and media that I think are usually
very strange.
Usually pretty smart, and I tend to agree with them in a lot of ways, but I mean, Malik Willis has played so little. I don't know how anyone could be that ball.
It wasn't like he was a first-round pick that didn't get a chance.
He must be a really impressive guy behind the scenes.
Yeah, I guess so.
And those are the things we don't know. We don't have access to that information. But
if you're
the league's a tight circle, and people talk. You know,
if you're another team that like doesn't have any young quarterbacks with any potential, then why not take a chance?
And there's always like that 1 or 2 of those guys out there that are the highest paid backups. Who can be starters, but they're not going to get paid like a starter.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're going to make that, $8 to $15 million range per year. And I think he's that next guy that's going to be in that mix. I mean, for a while it was Jameis Winston was bouncing around, was getting all that money to the $10 to $12 million range because
but he was 1-1. Like
he was a first round pick. He was the number 1 overall guy. The talent was there.
I think, but like if Malik Willis went to Miami, I mean, he could end up being the starter next year.
That's compete with Quinn Ewers, right?
Yeah. That's a better overall mix, right? Yeah. Because now you got Quinn Ewers. You already have he's a 6th-round guy. You got the high-priced guy in Tua who's injury prone, and you bring in Malik Willis to figure out, if something else goes wrong, he maybe compete. For me, I just think the Browns need to learn from their mistakes. Like, you know, we kind of did this less than a year ago. We brought in Flacco, the veteran. We wanted a reclamation project in Kenny Pickett. We drafted a young guy who we thought was a developmental project in Shedeur Sanders. And then we drafted another guy who we thought could be a higher ceiling backup type guy in Dylan Gabriel. That turned out disastrous.
It did. I think the Browns, I feel like their whole last year, they were very wishy-washy as to what their plan was.
Yeah.
Like, what is the plan? Okay, the plan's got to be, do we either try Watson again or go with another veteran because we want to win as many games as possible? Do we think Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Gabriel has real potential to be a good starter in the league? And if so, let's get behind them and give it a shot. If we don't like any of those ideas, well, then you got to try something else. But like, you got to have it was like they weren't sure what the plan is. Remember, you didn't even mention Kenny Pickett there. Yeah. Like, well, and you had like these 4 different options, and it was too much, and they screwed up the whole thing.
And you never what I respect from people is be strong and have some conviction. If you feel like, at least if you said to the fan base, you know what? Deshaun Watson, we felt like he got hurt. We feel there's something there. You may get laughed at. People may look at you crazy, but at least there is a little conviction to it. If you said, listen, we like what Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur did last year, we think one of those can be a future quarterback. You know what? You would stand on it.
Yeah.
If people may disagree with you. People may say, I don't think so. I think this guy ain't it. But at least you would have a situation where the organization has a clear path and saying, we standing on this type of time in this business. I just think that when you try to do a bunch of different things and that ain't gonna work, man. You gotta figure something out.
For most of the last 20 years, outside of obviously a couple of years with Baker, for most of the last 20 years, the Browns have gone into training camp uncertain as to who their quarterback was going to be. And that's most likely going to be the case again next year. And when you go into the season uncertain about your starting quarterback, you're almost always going to have a bad season. And that's been the case almost every year.
It's like I told somebody, it's almost like being engaged for more than 5 years. If you engaged for more than 5 years, what you waiting on, dog?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean?
You're not sure.
You ain't sure.
Yeah.
So I get this 6 months out of the way and start planning for these weddings.
Yeah.
Because what I would like to happen is I want to bring the new coordinator in, and my thought process is if I got confidence in who I'm hiring as a coordinator and I believe in those guys, I also have to believe that they are going to get the best versions out of those guys that I have in my room.
Sure.
And if they don't, if we put our cars behind somebody for 2026 and it don't work, guess what you get the opportunity to do? I guarantee this. If Shedeur Sanders played in 2026, they put everything around him, gave him pieces and parts, and it didn't work out. There is no excuse for nobody, whether you support him or not, to say, I see why the Browns got to go in 27 to get a quarterback. No. And everybody in the fan base will be like,
you're wrong.
Well, listen, I mean, some people.
I think some will come around like you, but there's always going to be the diehards.
But there will be people that will support him and maybe it don't work out. But what I'm saying to him is, 2026 people be acting like they're going to give something to somebody. No, 2026 is just an opportunity to prove that you can be somebody going forward. We ain't giving nobody the job. So that's where we're at right now. And I want to see, because look, hey, they're going to be in a competition or do whatever they need to do. But don't go out here and go get these 5-6 other dudes and
don't decide on
the
quarterback 10 days before the season.
Right.
Because then you're going to lose.
Yeah, let's put some things together.
All right, Mike.
We got to address something that happened on social media yesterday that I know has been buzzing in the group chats and all across all of Brown's Instagram, Twitter, social media. Before we get to that, make sure you guys check out G. Bush's Ultimate Brown Show. It's on our YouTube page. It does a great job covering the Browns. When we're not on the actual main UCSS show, so give us a like, give us a follow, and you can check out G's Ultimate Brown Show on the UCSS YouTube page. All right, in case anyone missed this, Baker Mayfield took a shot at Kevin Stefanski on Twitter yesterday.
When I first saw that, I thought it was like a fake.
It is not fake,
Yeah.
and I'm going to read you guys the exchange in case anyone hadn't seen it. D. Orlando Ledbecker, who is the Falcons beat writer of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution.
Yeah, he's been around forever, that guy.
Yes, longtime Falcons beat writer. Had an article in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution that he tweeted out with the headline of this: Falcons' Kevin Stefanski had a dumpster fire at quarterback in Cleveland. Baker Mayfield and Deshaun Watson failed, which started a chain reaction to 11 other starters. Quarterback Shedeur Sanders closed out last season with 7 starts. Baker Mayfield took exception to that, and he responded with this. And Steve, you want to take tag boards over so you can see it? Quote, "Failed is quite the reach, pal. Still waiting on a text call from him after I got shipped off like a piece of garbage. Can't wait to see you twice a year, coach."
If Baker had just done the first sentence, failed is quite the reach, I would have agreed with him. Baker didn't fail here. He was up and down. To call Baker's time in Cleveland a failure, I would never and I've been harder on him than anybody.
It was not a failure.
I would not call it a failure his time here. I think that's an unfair line. And then Baker, of course, did what Baker does and embarrasses himself with the rest of that. Calling out Kevin Stefanski is lame, and he looks petty. Most quarterbacks would not do that, especially quarterbacks as unaccomplished as him. I have heard from multiple sources, and I know other people that work on the show have heard it also, that nobody in the organization could get Baker on the phone after his last season here. Long before they talked to the Texans about Deshaun Watson. And then once the Browns, Baker wasn't returning calls. I've heard this consistently, okay, from multiple people, from multiple callers. And then they went and got Watson, which you could say whatever you want. We all know the trade's a disaster, worst trade of all time. At the time, most of us, certainly myself included, thought it was a great trade because Deshaun Watson pre-Cleveland, it's easy revisionist history now. Deshaun Watson pre-Cleveland was fantastic. He was certainly a lot better than Baker Mayfield. Obviously, it has failed spectacularly, and Baker wanted to be traded. And by the way, if Baker was so great, wouldn't the Browns have been able to get more than a 4th-round pick for him? No. He was inconsistent. He's continued. Obviously, he's been better in Tampa. He struggled the second half of this year. He's probably the worst quarterback in football second half of the year. I know somebody will make the injury excuse because every time Baker doesn't play well, we hear the injury excuse, unlike any other quarterback. I've never seen this before. So that's it. I mean, Baker, that's who Baker is, right? He takes shots at Kevin Stefanski. Stefanski would never do that to Baker. Say what you want. I'm not a huge Stefanski fan, but at least he does things with class. I thought this was really lame by Baker. And yeah, congratulations. You got about a 500 record in the worst division in football since you've gone to Tampa.
I think you go a little further than I would go.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that your disdain for Baker clearly
it's clouding my judgment.
No, I don't think it's clouding your judgment.
Yeah.
I think it's making it come across as like
personal.
Yes, yes. But I know it's not personal with you and Baker. I think that you definitely had some, nothing personal with him.
No.
Just it's about his performance, and frankly, it's probably been more so with the Baker fans.
Yeah.
And the non-Baker fans, and vice versa.
Yeah.
But
so there was a cult. There was a
cult.
There
was. It's not Shedeur level, but there was a cult.
There was.
We called them the Baker Bros for a reason.
Now, the one thing I'd say is and you made a good point, is most quarterbacks just wouldn't do that.
Right.
Even if you felt a certain way about a head coach, it's probably not the time or the place to do that. Baker's unconventional. I mean, he doesn't play the position like most quarterbacks. He doesn't speak like most quarterbacks. I did, however, think he changed his tune a little bit when he got to Tampa, matured a little bit more, and I like that. I like those.
As soon as things started going poorly,
it seems
reverted
like
a little.
Well, and that's part of being a human.
Yeah.
We all revert as to who we are at times, even if we are trying to work on certain things in our lives. But so I'm not going to denigrate the guy and be like, this guy stinks, or he's the same old Baker. I don't think that's the case. I think he's grown up.
Yeah.
I think he's found the Lord, and he's got a kid, and he's part of growing up, right? We've all been there. But I don't love that look. You wouldn't see that from Mahomes. You wouldn't see that from Josh Allen. You wouldn't see it from those other franchise guys. And so it makes you wonder, is he how grown up really is he?
Yeah.
Even though I'm happy he's having success, I got no ill will toward the guy. When he was here, I think I liked him, thought he was good. Thought he got hurt, and then he played like crap, and then he just kind of wanted to scorch earth on the way out of here.
And it wasn't like Stefanski said something bad about
No.
him. This was a reporter doing a report. I do think the comment about failed was unfair.
Yeah.
That was unfair, but why take a shot at Stefanski?
I think this is a case study, and people don't quit organizations, they quit direct leaders. When people have issues, they don't know the CEO. They know the guy that they're dealing with directly on a day-to-day basis. And if you look at the track record over the 6 years Kevin Stefanski has been here, he has been very poor at communication. He has been very poor at messaging, and he seems to
With the media, I don't know if he used with the players.
I can just give you what they say. Baker Mayfield still has a problem with him.
Well, Baker Mayfield's had a problem with every coach.
Myles Garrett had a problem with him.
When did Myles Garrett have a problem?
Myles Garrett, do you think continuity and Coach Stefanski? I just want to get it done. Myles Garrett also wanted a trade, requested a trade, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The team stunk.
Okay. Odell Beckham Jr. He had a problem with Kevin Stefanski, right?
Again, another malcontent type of player.
Kareem Hunt had a problem with Kevin Stefanski.
He did?
Yeah. Listen,
I don't remember that.
I'm just saying. We can continue down the list.
I just don't remember Kareem Hunt.
I'll let you get his point out here.
Okay, go ahead.
Deshaun Watson, not the best relationship with Kevin Stefanski, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we continue to work. Shedeur Sanders, did they have a great relationship? No.
I guess
DTR
not.
says, hey, man, I didn't even know I was playing. Twice. Didn't even know I was even starting. Jameis Winston, hey, Kevin, you're giving up play calling. I came here to be under you. Why are you giving the playbook away? You didn't even tell me. The problem is, Bull, we can't have it. One time it's cool, but I done seen multiple players in multiple positions over a series of years have a problem with Kevin Stefanski. And the theory is, just like in this piece, they write articles and say it was that person's fault. It was this person. Kevin has been painted as some victim because he doesn't speak. He doesn't give you anything in press conferences. He gives this veneer as if, oh, I'm just the guy going along with the thing and it was never my fault. Well, guess what? That's not true. You got people that said multiple cases where the communication has not been good. Put on top of that, the production hasn't been good. Put on top of that, that there's been rumblings about you giving the playbook, here, take this, bring it back. The bottom line is Kevin Stefanski just does not have the problem with people with Shedeur Sanders. There's people that like Baker Mayfield who's saying to him, look, hey, why did it's the communication. He's not saying he was a garbage coach. He said in the piece, I'm still waiting for the text message.
But you were going to ignore the fact that that's not true?
What you mean?
That's not true.
So Baker Mayfield is saying that Baker's saying he didn't get a call from Kevin Stefanski.
Well, he's lying.
So how?
I mean, I don't know that firsthand fact, but I've heard it from enough reliable people that I think he was lying.
Did Kevin talk to him?
No, that Kevin tried to talk to him and he wouldn't take Kevin's call.
The reports that have been out there, I'm pretty sure they're out there, was that the organization tried to call Baker and he was sending him straight to voicemail.
Yes. So how's that Kevin Stefanski's fault?
So here's what I'm saying to you is, a lot of times we be talking about stuff.
Yeah.
Where there is smoke, there tends to be. I just gave you an example of 10 players. Are all 10 of those players?
First of all, it wasn't 10. Second of all, some of them are stretches. Some of them you're calling they've had a beef with Stefanski, and I don't even know if that's accurate. We don't know that. You mentioned Jameis Winston. I don't think he had a beef with Stefanski.
Jameis Winston came out and said he did not know that he was turning play callers over to Dorsey, and he came here specifically to run the offense Kevin had. He said it.
That doesn't necessarily mean he had a beef with Stefanski.
It's not, Bull. It's not. We're not saying that we're gonna go to blows. What we're saying is there's a pattern of people coming out,
and it's a pattern of some of those guys have a problem wherever they go, right?
So Kevin Stefanski,
Kareem Hunt, bad guy. Deshaun Watson, bad guy. Baker Mayfield hates every coach. Odell Beckham has a problem with everywhere he goes.
So there's the
only good example of Myles Garrett fine. Myles Garrett, no problem.
So we talk about narratives.
Yeah.
Why do you think players are a little disturbed? Because every time somebody brings up something about Kevin Stefanski, the cape goes on. The media goes, hold on. No, it's not Kevin. The cape is going, hold on. It's not Kevin. We heard articles. Listen, Kevin been gone weeks. We heard day after day after day after day after day after day. Why is Andrew here? Why is he still here? Why is this person's here? Kevin should be here. Kevin didn't do anything.
No. I don't understand. You and I are having a debate, and you're using as part of your argument something I've never said.
I'm not talking about you.
I think I've said consistently Kevin should be gone. Because you and I are debating.
You're internalizing it.
You and I are having a debate.
You're internalizing it. You're saying that I'm saying. There's
plenty of people that's wanted Stefanski gone. Plenty of people that want.
What I'm saying, Baker Mayfield is just the tip of the iceberg. All I'm showing you right now is that Kevin Stefanski had a lack of communication and poor leadership when it came to talking to players. It's been a track record of it.
There's a lot of players that like him too. A lot of offensive.
Well, who jumped up and Wyatt Teller? Hey, I guess they didn't have a good relationship at the end either.
Well, it certainly soured at the end, and that's what. And you know what? Part of that is why Stefanski's gone.
That's all I'm saying.
But some of those are stretches that you brought up.
Odell Beckham is a stretch.
Odell Beckham has been a disaster after his first 3 years in the league.
So
he's done nothing.
So that's a stretch.
Nobody wants him. He's a problem.
So this is the thing. When you paint.
What did Odell say about Kevin Stefanski specifically?
Listen, it was the reason half the locker room was split. What are you talking about? Half the people were salty that he got him in the middle of the year. Jarvis Landry.
Isn't that Andrew Berry's job?
Look,
that's Andrew Berry, not Kevin Stefanski.
All I'm saying, Bull, is when...
No. You just blamed Kevin Stefanski for something Andrew Berry did.
So if Kevin Stefanski goes to Andrew Berry and says, this guy got to go, I'm not seeing eye to eye with him, what do you think Andrew Berry's going to do?
Well, Andrew Berry traded Joe Flacco, and Kevin Stefanski wanted him. He didn't listen to him then.
Well, guess what? He ain't had no power back then. He got it now.
Oh, come on.
He don't got it now?
You don't know that.
I do.
Every positive thing you want to give credit to Berry, and now you're going to blame him for cutting Beckham.
This is not
Beckham was a bum here. He was a bum. He was a huge disappointment.
So the reality of the situation is, I keep giving you examples. You refute those examples. You say that can't be true. But then you...
some of them are true. Yes, some of them are true.
This ain't an Andrew Berry conversation.
You brought up Andrew Berry.
No, you brought Andrew Berry up.
Who brought up Andrew Berry,
You said that he traded him. And you said Andrew Berry traded him.
You said everybody wanted Andrew Berry fired. You brought him up first.
Guess what? I did say that back then, but what I'm telling you, that wasn't in the context of what we talk about right here. The context of this argument is Kevin Stefanski is not blameless. And Kevin Stefanski...
Who's saying he's blameless? Nobody would say that. Nobody. Not even Jason, who defends him, would say he's blameless.
Now, I don't know about that. But no.
Yeah, I know about that.
I don't know.
Nobody would say he's blameless.
I'm not saying... Listen, the reality of the situation is Baker Mayfield came out and said that. A lot of people been writing, talking about Kevin Stefanski for a very long time. I told you. At the end of the day, I wish him nothing but best of luck, right? But I hope in his new job, he realizes that his communication has to be better in order to get through to people on his team, because that was a major problem. And for somebody to reach out 4 years later after it's all been said and done shows...
Isn't that petty? I'm the king of petty, so I know petty.
The question here is, was the shot justified or not?
Would any other quarterback have said that?
Put it to you like this: Would I have said it? I would have kept it pushing. Would I have dipped back? No, because I always feel like this: if I'm in a position where I'm confident, where I'm at right now, I don't really care about that. I ain't got to keep talking about you. I'm worried about the Buccaneers and what we gonna do. So for me, I wouldn't have said it. But Baker is Baker, right? I can't control his emotions. That's who he is, like Dustin said.
Yeah.
But it also goes to show you that when somebody still mentions that, he was hurt by that. So when people is hurt about a situation because they felt like, hey, I was owed better, people tend to still internalize that and be like, listen, it's cool, but I was hurt by the feeling. He said, they got me out like a piece of garbage. When you say, I felt like a piece of garbage, that he's telling, I can't tell him how he feel, but for you to say that means in your heart you felt like lower than low. I felt like garbage when you did that.
It's a business. Guys get cut and traded all the time.
Hey, it is.
All right, Mike.
We got our guest who just tuned in a second ago and caught the end of that. So we're going to bring Ohio State into this conversation in 1 sec. After a quick reminder that FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. And guys, playoff mode has been activated on FanDuel. FanDuel users get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. Whenever they make their picks, you just apply your profit boost to get even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. Just visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL and the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day and start making money with us. And with that, we are thrilled to welcome on Barstool personality Ohio State to the show. He's a diehard Cleveland fan, does some crazy stuff on the Barstool After Dark streams. And Tate, you just heard the back and forth about Stefanski and Baker. I'm sure you've seen the comments. Where do you fall on this? Was it a justified shot by Baker, or are the Stefanski pearl clutchers in their feelings right now?
I mean, was it fair? No. The answer is it's not fair because Stefanski didn't say it. I think that's the funniest part about it is he is upset that someone else called it a failure. So, but with that being said, that's how Baker has operated since as long as we've known him, since back in college, is he finds that chip on his shoulder and he holds on to it. He plays best when his back's against the wall and when he has a grudge. So am I surprised he did it? No. Am I, do I see where he's coming from, where it feels like, we somewhat abandoned him and went another way? No. But also Stefanski's not the one, however many years later that's still talking about it.
With that being said, Tate, do you think that Stefanski will have success in Atlanta?
Yeah, I do, because I think that's the Cleveland Browns way. It's funny to look back at and see that the Browns are in the midst of a coaching search that I think, it's not too much of a stretch to say isn't going as planned or as hoped, or at least, we don't even have the Rooney Rule satisfied yet, and we're talking about second round of interviews. So it's just the Cleveland Browns way, and we got rid of a guy who was the 2-time coach of the year and who led this team to a playoff win. So do I think he's a great, all-time coach? Not necessarily. Do I think that it would be just Cleveland Browns football to watch this guy go win in Atlanta? That's what it seems to be.
Well, the only thing I say to that is that none of the other guys they fired here have done anything anywhere else. So we'll see. I mean, most guys that don't succeed the first time don't succeed the second time.
Just to be fair, has anybody that's gotten fired here gotten a job immediately?
Immediately?
Yeah, I think this is the first one.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that's,
just to be fair,
a different circumstance. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, they have a messy quarterback situation too. We'll see. All right, here's what I want to know, Tate. How much do you get your balls busted at Barstool for being a Cleveland fan?
Too much, man.
Yeah.
Too much, because you guys know who runs the show at Barstool, and that's Dave. So he's the Michigan guy, so that already gives you like a leg down on the competition. Yeah. And then when we talk about having representatives from every single, fan base and city and all that, Cleveland's the bottom of the barrel. So it's tough to be. It'd be nice to be one of these guys on one of the. We stream the games. It'd be nice to be the one that wins one of these times.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's tough. But when we have our moment, I'll be the first to shout from the mountaintops.
There you go.
All right, so we do this debate all the time in here. Me and Bull was arguing the other day, and we was doing overtime, and he said that the Guardians would win a championship before the Browns would. In order from the Guardians, the Cavs, and the Browns, which one of those teams are more likely to get a championship first?
That's a great question. I would like to say the Guardians, but with that being said, until we spend some money, we're not going to win a championship. Like we've relied on having a great pitching staff and a great pitching coach, and we've had manager of the year becomes another manager of the year, and they're the most winning and successful franchise that we have, no doubt about it. But there needs to be some like right now we're talking about a team that is back-to-back AL Central champions, and the clear as day flaw is that we averaged less than 4 runs a game, and we were dead last in the American League. What have we done to improve? We're relying on what's that?
Nothing.
Zilch.
Yeah, zilch. Exactly right. So that's the best team we have. That is the best chance that we have. And if we just spent a little bit of money, that would be my number one answer. My number 2 answer is probably the Cavs, just because we were the co-favorites of the East going into the season this year, and we have the talent to do it, but what a disaster of a season it's been so far. And then the Browns, I don't know. Do I want the Browns to be the answer? Yes. But what have you guys seen that could make you say that the Cleveland Browns are even in the same planet of a team that can win a Super Bowl?
No. They're not anywhere near that planet.
They ain't
right
close.
Nothing, and they don't have the number one pick, and there's no like Andrew Luck in this draft, so there's no hope of getting lucky with a quarterback to come in and just save the franchise. No, so there's no chance. They're light years away, Tate.
Are you a Shedeur guy?
I'll tell you what I am. I'm not a Dylan Gabriel guy. Find me one person who is. Dylan Gabriel. That's the funniest pick that we've made in quite some time is Dylan Gabriel. I don't know what the upside of having Deshaun Watson as your starting quarterback is next year. Like the idea that someone's going to come in here and start Deshaun, what's he going to do? Play well and earn another contract with the Browns? He's gone, so there's no upside there. Are we going to add a fourth quarterback to this already clown show of a quarterback room that we have? So am I a Shedeur guy? No, I don't think he's a franchise quarterback. I think he holds on to the ball too long. I think he makes some bad decisions. But of the guys we have right now, if you said who should be our starter next year, whether it be Watson, Gabriel, Shedeur, or bring in Malik Willis, I think Shedeur is your best option. And then you're going to be picking at the top of the draft again next year, and then you're going to get your guy.
Hey, listen, man. If you look at it in terms of the options, I do think that Shedeur Sanders is a little uncomfortable because we giving people the two options. Either you get Shedeur Sanders or you get Deshaun Watson. You pick. People in the streets right now is very uncomfortable about those prospects.
And that's why we're not getting a coach. I feel like, we're talking about it a little bit, but what coach is signing up to come here and have this quarterback room that was a joke last year? No one knows who the starter is this year. You're either coming in and you're probably your most talented, I don't even know if you can say that anymore, is Deshaun Watson, but he was the worst contract in sports history. He's not coming back after a year. Shedeur Sanders is the most polarizing guy in sports. You better be ready to come in and do press conference after press conference. It's going to be a circus when Shedeur and Deshaun Watson are competing for a starting job. So it would be a whole lot more attractive of a job if we needed a quarterback, like if we could draft one, which we're not going to do at the top of the draft, or we had a solid quarterback, or you could bring one in, but I don't think you can do any of those things.
Being a Buckeye, Tate, it was tough. You and me. I mean, it's tough to watch Indiana have this success and believe that it really happened. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's hard to deny 16-0, what Cignetti did, what Mendoza did. I thought that game, his run 4th and 5, that was his Heisman moment, I thought, by far. And probably the only time all year I've looked at this guy and been like, man, this guy really can put a team on his back. And I think he's going to be the number one pick, and I think he's probably going to have a decent chance. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I was the number one Cignetti hater after Ohio State whooped up on him last year, and then Notre Dame kind of did the same, and it seemed like he was a little cowardly in the big moments. And so I'm, getting some heat right now because I put his face on a clown and blogged about him being an FCS merchant. I look like an idiot now. He's clearly the best coach in college football. To talk about, a good coach can do less or can do more with less, and he's the exact guy. Like, could you imagine that team was 73rd or 74th in the talent composite rankings?
Crazy.
Yeah.
And he's just gonna get better NIL. I know Cuban's on board. I know he's just gonna get better players. They're dominating the transfer portal right now. So what this Indiana team did, I was wrong. And I'm with you though, Dustin. Even up until this Miami game, even when they beat us, in the back of my mind, I'm still like, I'm not sold on their quarterback. I'm not sold on their coach.
Same.
I don't think Ohio State was necessarily, not that they weren't trying, that's crazy to say, but they knew that wasn't the most important game. But it took all the way up until that 4th and 5 was a big boy play to bounce off the
blew me away.
To spin into the end zone, to dive out. I'm seeing these pictures of, he's bleeding, his arm is jacked up. It's black, blue, and red at the same time. If you're today being a Cignetti doubter or a Mendoza doubter, you're crazy. You have nothing.
Yeah.
You have nothing to lay back on.
Tate, speaking of crazy, you've eaten 320 peeps. You found actual needle in a haystack. I know you've done a lot of wacky things. What is the craziest thing of all the things you've done here Did you really find the needle in the haystack, or did they cheat, or like what happened here? And what's the craziest thing you've done?
Well, I'll tell you this: the thing I'll never do, I'll never eat a peep again. I'll never eat a peep again.
That's disgusting.
We had to do. I did 10 peeps per point that Oregon scored if they beat us, and they did. I ended up having to go on the last day. I had to go to the doctor and the dentist in the same day. I went to the doctor, and the doctor sent me to the dentist because I was checking to see if I had diabetes. And then he was like, "You don't have diabetes, but your teeth are fucked up." Oh, sorry, I don't know if you.
You're good.
My mistake.
Right.
But that was a bad one. I'll say the most fun one, but also kind of the funniest was we did a contest where you had to drink 24 beers and make 24 free throws in a row before you could be done. So you had to drink a beer, make a free throw, drink 2 beers, make 2 free throws, 3, 4, 4, all the way up until we finished a case of beer. It took us 17 hours to do.
Wait, how many beers did you drink?
We ended up, at the beginning,
group challenge, right, Tate?
Oh,
it's not just you.
Two people, me and one other. But by the end of it, I was a case of beer deep.
Yeah.
But we couldn't make 24 free throws, so now I'm hungover shooting free throws. We do this stuff. We got to get you guys whatever you want to come out to Chicago. Come out and join one of these challenges.
Hell yeah, man!
Crazy.
Yeah, love Chicago. Yeah. Definitely in the summer.
Yeah,
Chicago.
I don't know how.
Well, I'll tell you a good one we did in the summer of Chicago. So do you guys know the 999 challenge? You know what that is?
Of course.
I
don't. Fill us in.
Yeah.
These people are old, Tate. We got to explain to them.
Sorry. Yeah, we are old.
So you go to a baseball game and you try within the 9 innings to drink 9 beers and eat 9 hot dogs. So we went to the rooftop of Wrigley Field and we all dressed up as baseball players and we tried to do 99, 99, 99, or 99, 99. But our coach was Joey Chestnut. So he was not allowed to eat hot dogs because he doesn't do that on camera. He only does it with Nathan's. Right. I think he drank 25 beers in 9 innings and just started berating all of us because we couldn't. That's the type of things that we do.
Those old style beers at Wrigley, they'll go down in a hurry.
The old style beers were good, but the hot dogs, they were having us eat quarter pounders. We had to eat 11 each.
Man,
yeah, I puked everywhere.
God.
Tate, I got a question for you. So with the Barstool After Dark streams, you've brought on a bunch of guests. You've had a bunch of other Barstool personalities come and join you. Who is, and I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but who's the guy if you had to pick one person to accomplish a challenge with in the Barstool world? Is it Gruden?
Gruden. John Gruden he's the most interesting guy that I've met. We watched the Ohio State National Championship game together last year. I think it doesn't seem like he's in any of the mix for these head coaching jobs. But
why is he not? But why is he not? I love the guy.
I don't know. I really don't think that it's anything to do with how he exited the NFL the last time. I really think that if a team wanted him, they would give him a chance. College-wise, I do think that the game has sort of it's not passed him by any means. The guy knows more football than people will ever learn in their entire lifetime. But to be a college football coach now, you have to cater to the kids. You have to recruit your guys. You have to recruit your own players. You have to figure out the NIL. You have to deal with these 18 to 22-year-old like prima donnas, every single one of them. If you have a big season, you want paid more. If you have a bad season, you don't want paid less. And he doesn't seem like the guy. I don't know how that would mix in the college level. The NFL level, I would love to see him get another crack at it because the dude knows football. He's personable, and he would dominate the press conferences. So I don't know. It'd be nice to see him get one.
Man, listen. Here's how you do it. Here's how you figure out the NIL, man. You put a salary cap. You get a salary cap, and hey, it works out well because now, listen, you already know you're not where you have to budget.
Who's the governing body for that?
Yeah, that's the problem. There is none. College football did it to themselves. They refused to budge, and now they're in this situation.
Oh, I'm all for it. Hey, make them pay all the money in the world. I don't care nothing about it. Like, get that check. Yeah. But I do think now with the rise of Indiana, I do think that you'll start to see people kind of pivot and start to say, I don't know if I want to recruit young guys like that. Yeah. Give me the 25-year-old dudes that can do it, and bring them from Division II. Like, there's a lot of kids that fall through the crack, and Indiana did it in a way where I didn't think it was possible.
All right.
Gee, I think you're spot on with both of them. The salary, there's got to be rules. It's the wild, wild west out now, right now.
Yeah.
Like even Jeremiah Smith, he's going to go down as probably the greatest wide receiver in Ohio State history. I think he's going to be at the top of every single leaderboard through 3 years. You know darn well that he is getting calls from Miami, calls from Indiana, calls from Michigan, whoever it might be. He has to get more this year just to stay at Ohio State, and that's a bad place for college football to be when you could go down as the greatest player of all time and you still are entertaining other offers. You've got, the best quarter. One second. You've got quarterbacks hopping from Power 5 team to Power 5 team. But yeah, there needs to be a salary cap, and it's a mess right now until there is.
Tate, we'll get you out of here on this one, but in your Twitter bio, it says you're a 2014 National Championship at Ohio State. Tyvis Powell is on our show. You can actually see behind them on the panel. That is the defensive championship trophy, defensive MVP championship trophy from that team. And you also won the 2020 Ohio High School State Coach of the Year Award. So when you look at those two championships, how do you compare the two?
Well, I've got a Tyvis Powell story for you. So my last
Please.
name's Moore. So we sat in the shoe. I sat by Tyvis at graduation in the shoe, and he was just holding court up there because we were all just sitting around. And I was like, Tyvis, what are you doing after college? Because people are like, oh, I'm going to be a teacher. I'm going to be whatever. Tyvis said he was going to try his hand at the NFL, and if that didn't work out, he was going to go into the adult entertainment business.
He said that really?
100%.
Oh my
I was hoping he was going to be on
I'm
today.
getting Ty on right now.
He is never going to hear the end of that. Thank you for that ammunition.
Come on.
I mean, was he engaged at that time?
Damn.
I don't know.
That
He's
is
been dating-
awesome.
Oh, I hope I didn't
College.
just blow that.
No, that's
No, no.
fine.
Well, that's great.
That's fine. All right, man.
You
Well,
already
thanks
rich-
for
you rich
representing
now.
Cleveland at Barstool. We appreciate the time, man. Thanks.
All right, guys. Love the show. See you.
Thanks,
man.
Tate.
That is
Take
Ohio
care.
State. Make sure you follow Ohio State on Twitter and follow the Barstool After Dark streams,
Tyvis.
just like you do with us.
Matt,
Last guy
Matt
was-
Khalil's got some competition.
Hey, listen, nasty work, Tyvis. Literally
Man,
nasty
work.
Man.
The nastiest work, angle work.
So I just heard from Tyvis.
Listen, he was watching.
I have texted Tyvis. I said, Tyvis, what are you doing right now? He said, playing 2K, watching. Quote, I 100% said that.
That's crazy.
All right.
All right, he owned it. He owned
So
it.
Damn.
shout out to Ohio State. Make sure you follow, and some interesting insight from a
Yeah.
kind of
Where did he grow up, by the way? Is he from
He's
this
from
area?
here. I don't
From
know where
Northeast
exactly.
Ohio?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know exactly where.
Oh,
But
no, I don't know if he's from Northeast Ohio, but he's from Ohio.
he coached, Reflog, friend of the show, Reflog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He coached Reflog's daughter
Oh.
to a state championship.
I think he must. I mean, he's a Browns and he's a Cleveland fan, so I'm sure he grew
Man,
up in Cincinnati.
listen, I would go out to Chicago. I'd wait till things die down out there a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Did they move on from that?
That's Minnesota. That's
They
yeah.
moved to Minnesota. Okay.
No, Minnesota's the crazy.
No,
Chicago's all right.
That was during the summer. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead, Mike.
He's from Wadsworth.
Wadsworth. There you
You guys know
go.
where Wadsworth is?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 5 minutes from where I live.
Yeah, like Akron.
I got to schlep all the way to Medina tonight. I'm not looking forward to
For
that.
what?
Aaron's got a wrestling meet
At the high school? At Highland or where?
at Buckeye Junior High School.
Okay.
That's kind of far away, bro.
Yeah,
At least
well.
they didn't say Ashtabula. That you might as
Well,
well.
last on Saturday he was supposed to have a wrestling. They had a wrestling meet in like down by Canton, but he was sick, so he didn't go. I was like, thank God I don't have to drive all the way there.
These trips, man, like that's the only thing I didn't. With basketball, it was kind of weird. Football, listen, you came to Fawcett. Like we only gonna play 3 away games. It's gonna be Ignatius, Massillon, and
like
Warren.
8 home games.
We got
It's
10
the
home
Ohio
games.
State of high school, right?
They
there.
were, pretty much.
And we only played on Saturday. There's like, we're gonna play Saturday. But basketball, we was all over the place. I'm going to Worcester, bro. You doing
Worcester.
That's a terrible
hike, man.
drive, bro. Just driving to
Route
Worcester.
30.
Man, just looking around on these regular school buses. And usually we got charter joints. Basketball is different. We on these yellow
School buses, man.
You had charter buses for football?
If you had long games over like an
Yeah.
hour or two away,
You
yeah.
had the charter
Yeah,
bus.
we
I rode up for 3 years doing that. I'm
Yeah.
sure, well, you're flying in the NFL, but with
I know what you're talking about.
did you guys fly at Ohio U?
They came up with the rule, like so.
The distance.
Depending how far you go.
You could fly if it was within whatever it was.
Yeah.
the
Dude,
distance was.
baseball's the worst.
You had to. This was back in the day.
Yeah.
You had to drive one of the ways.
Yeah.
So like you had to pick one game.
Yeah.
Yeah. We would
Yeah.
we
That's
we
weird.
would fly. home from Bloomington or like West Lafayette.
Yeah.
But we drive there.
Like we did that for Kentucky.
weird.
Like we drove, or we did it for Buffalo. Like I'm like, bro, this is nasty. Like why we got to drive one way?
Dude, when I was doing, listen, I wouldn't trade my minor league baseball experience for anything, but it was, the league I was calling games for was an 80, I think it was an 80-something game season. I don't remember how long.
That's terrible.
But we didn't ever fly. It's low-level minor league baseball.
What's the furthest you had to go though?
We went, so the
Like
team
5 hours?
No, more than that.
Really?
What?
We were in Batavia, which is near Buffalo, and we played at Lowell, Massachusetts. That was like I don't know. We played in Vermont.
That's got to be 10 hours.
Yeah, we played in Vermont. We played in New York City. That's a 8 hour drive from Batavia. We played in New Jersey. We played.
I'm hopeful
Mahoney
that they
Valley.
did you some favors with the scheduling, so it got you like if you're heading a certain way.
Sometimes, but
People
the
don't-
only times we went to Williamsport, Pennsylvania. The only places we didn't stay overnight when we went to Auburn, which was near Syracuse. St. Catharines had a team one year, which is just over the border in Canada, and Jamestown. We would come back, but that was it. Otherwise, we were on the road. Anyway, it was a lot of bus riding. Fortunately, I got my own seat on the bus.
People don't be realizing that, like, when you get, people think you say New York, it'd be just all New York City.
Yeah.
Bro, all that upstate stuff, that's nasty work up there, bro. It ain't nothing. It's farms. It's boring. And
there's cities up there, small cities,
but it ain't like when you say New York, you thinking.
Yeah, you think of New York City.
But New York is way bigger than that.
Man.
Yeah,
and
You got all those little towns from Buffalo to
and then
to
if you go
Syracuse.
northern New York, it's even more rural.
so you
Albany.
when you
north of Albany,
I
there's
even
cannot
north?
believe Albany is the state capital. How?
because it's the middle of the state.
How?
kinda.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
to me.
Northern middle.
Well, this was a fascinating upstate New York geography lesson.
All right,
but
Mike,
there's
don't
two
be a wise
things. No,
guy
I got
about
two
it.
important texts I got to share
Yeah.
with you. First
Yeah.
one, I just got a text from Mike Pettine who said he can't wait to hop on. He's going to join us a few minutes early. So we're going to skip
Awesome.
the topic we're doing between. While we wait about 2-3 minutes for Mike Pettine, Joe Thomas weighed in on the Kevin Stefanski Baker Mayfield beef.
He texted you.
What'd he say?
No, he tweeted. This is not a personal text. But Joe Thomas has tweeted in response to the Baker Mayfield tweet. Joe Thomas says, quote, I could be wrong, but I've heard that communication is a two-way street, and there were no laws against you, Baker, sending Stefanski a text or calling him after you got traded with the looking eyeglass emoji. So Joe Thomas now weighing
Very
in on
telling. Very
back
telling
and
that Joe Thomas, who doesn't wade into controversial waters very often, defending Stefanski.
Did Joe
there.
play with Baker for a year?
What was Joe's last year? I think it was
18 was Baker's first year.
year. Was that Joe's last year?
Joe Thomas retired in
Or was 17 his last year?
17.
Yeah.
Did not
So
play
he
with
did not
Baker.
play with Baker.
Yeah, man. Listen, I told you that. Listen, the Baker Chronicles done sparked the streets up again. The Baker Bros is out.
Baker Bros are feeling
We
themselves
out.
right now.
We haven't heard from Jay Crawford. We have not heard. We tried to
No.
get him on the group text.
I even added him on the group.
He
chat.
Yeah.
added him. I seen it. I said, "Where's Jay at when we need him?"
Even though Jay's a Baker bro, I don't think Jay would like this. He wouldn't like this. Jay's not this. He doesn't like this type of behavior.
I don't. We gonna see. When
Jay's not a petty guy.
No, look, it's crazy. Baker do stuff like he played quarterback, but he really not a quarterback. Like his mentality is not. He's not Sam Darnold. He's not Kirk Cousins. He ain't on that type of time. And it's funny. I will say this: you're now starting to see more than anything that the quarterback position, as far as the makeup and who they are as individuals, it's more diverse than it's ever been. You'll have Mendoza that comes into the league next year, and he's very quirky. Like, he does it a different way. Baker obviously doesn't usually do. Caleb Williams is
own
different.
cat.
Shedeur Sanders is obviously his own type of dude. There's a lot of dudes, even guys like, Lamar Jackson, like, he made his mom his agent, right? Jaden Daniels, his mom is very active. So all of the Mannings and all of the Tom Brady's, that they just handle it a certain way. It's crazy that now there's a difference in voice in how people view quarterbacks. I think it's interesting.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, it is just a different world. I mean, the way we consume media, the way players have access to put out their own stories as not needing the media nearly as much anymore in the same capacity. It's a never-changing
But Joe
landscape.
Thomas was making a point there.
Joe Thomas does not.
That was
tweet about
defending
stuff.
Kevin Stefanski.
That was definitely a defense of Kevin Stefanski.
He's like, hey, reach out. Now look, bro.
Yeah, Baker's got revisionist history like a lot of his fans.
Now, if Baker would have said, I tried to reach out to Kevin multiple times and he kept blocking my calls.
Yeah.
That's a different story.
Right.
But he's like, he's basically saying, I'm the victim.
Yeah.
No one called me.
Right, yeah.
And you go two ways too. Like, I think a part of what Baker ain't gonna say, he ain't gonna say, when it came out that they was courting Deshaun Watson, he was in his feelings. He was like, yo.
And he had every right to be, for what it's worth.
For what it's worth.
And the Browns had every right to court Deshaun Watson.
It's a situation where both sides could be right.
Right.
And it just ended disastrously for both.
And we won't, and we not, and this is the thing, you're not going to really figure it until somebody sit on record and say something. Yeah. Speaking of, it's one of them two-way streets. So just like we got Baker, we got Mike Pettine, and we talked to Brian Hoyer. Yeah. We got one side. We've heard from Johnny. We had one side. Now
nobody believes Johnny.
Now we can hear. Now we can hear from Mike in his thought process.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to the conversation because he's been we ain't seen him. We have not. He just kind of disappeared off the map a little bit.
He went from the coach of the Browns, out of football for a year. Then he was a consultant for the Seahawks, the DC for the Packers. Then he was an assistant with the Bears, assistant with the Vikings for the last 4 years. He worked with Grant Udinsky, who I'm curious to see what he thinks of him on the other side of the ball. And I'm going to toss to you because I got to do a mic check because Coach just hopped in the queue.
I mean, Mike Pettine started his career as Browns coach at 7-4, and then they pushed Johnny on him, and it kind of all went south from there. So.
Yeah, and he had, and at the same time they had Johnny, and remember at the time, your boy, what's the name, receiver, Josh Gordon was suspended, right?
Yes,
and then he came halfway through the season.
All right, Coach Mike Pettine is he's not a coach anymore. He's retired.
He's always a coach.
No, we're going to bring him in.
Always coach.
Very excited for this conversation.
Yeah.
He's going to join us in a minute. First, the NFL playoffs are wrapping up, and that means FanDuel is in playoff mode. And when it's in playoff mode, FanDuel users can get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app during every playoff game. You may be asking yourself, what is a profit boost pack? Well, it gives you even bigger playouts while you're playing games during the NFL playoffs. Just visit FanDuel.com, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, the official sportsbook partner of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. There's just 2 left this season, so don't miss out while you can still make more money. And with that, we are thrilled to welcome in for the first time former Browns coach, over 2 decades in the NFL. It is Mike Pettine. How you doing today, Coach? Thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, I'm well. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, Coach, it's great to have you with us. And does everybody still call you Coach? I mean, is it once a coach, always a coach?
Yep.
Well, I mean, technically my contract runs for another 10 days, so.
Okay.
But my grandkids call me Coach, so I don't think that's going to change anytime soon.
You don't look old enough for grandkids, Coach. You look young, man.
Well, we got 4 of them.
Wow.
Where's home now currently? And into retirement, where are you going to be living?
In retirement, I'll be back in Ohio.
Yeah.
I'll be right across the water from Cedar Point on the Sandusky Bay, Johnson's Island.
Nice.
Beautiful.
That's up there with Jay's.
Beautiful.
Right?
Yeah.
That's one of Jay's many homes. Coach, what made you decide to call it quits here? Obviously, you've been with Minnesota, been a big part of that defense, obviously. There's been success there defensively. Why now? Why is the time to call it quits?
Well, I just think you reach a point, where you evaluate where you are, every year. My wife and I, who's from Wadsworth, by the way, I heard that mentioned.
Yeah.
Not that long ago. I think you reach a point where it's like, your time becomes more important than money. And, we've, like, as I mentioned, 4 grandkids, 6 kids. My wife and I each have a parent who's in their 80s. They're doing okay, but we want to be able to spend more time with them. And just the grind of the league, it's tough. And I think, I'm in a position now where I can step away. I don't know if I can declare this as being a permanent thing. But the time that I took off after Cleveland, that I needed, so I could feel like I could see colors and smell smells again. That was one of the best years that I've had, and it's just there's so many things that you want to do, and you just can't do it. So I was going to step away and get right mentally and physically, and make an evaluation down the road.
Coach Pettine, we take a look at it. You're probably one of the first coaches that can give us an insight on some of the things that the Browns have gone through over the last 5 or 6 years. Kevin Stefanski being here, and he's dealt with a very highly publicized quarterback room, and like yourself, we've had Brian on the show, real good guest on the show multiple times, and he's talked about kind of the spotlight and how things went during that time period with Johnny. Can you explain to the to the people out there, how is it dealing with a very, I would say, high profile quarterback in a high profile competition with a guy who's from here, and Brian Hoyer, who had lots of fans, and then Johnny being a guy that was just, obviously it was bigger than life for some people. How was that, trying to manage that, and what were some of the challenges doing that as a head football coach and trying to get guys to kind of buy in?
How much time do we have?
Oh, we got it all day. All day.
As much as you need, yeah.
Obviously, challenge is an appropriate word. But any time that you draft a quarterback in the first round, there's always going to be that pressure to play them, which was very different from when I first started in the league. That was more the exception than the norm. I mean, where you see guys like Aaron Rodgers sitting, Carson Palmer sat behind John Kitna. I mean, there's numerous examples of even Pat Mahomes sat behind Alex Smith. That's always the ideal thing, is that you can have your young quarterback learn. I mean, it's a very different world, very different speed of the game going from playing in college to the NFL. And unfortunately, that trend has completely flipped. It's rare that you see a quarterback, because we're so much in the age now of instant gratification, and we have to play this guy. So yeah, I mean, that pressure was there, but I think we did a good job as a staff. We wanted to do what was best for the football team. What lineup, wasn't just quarterback, any other position, gave us the best opportunity to win in that given week. And those were the decisions that we made, in a vacuum. We didn't really listen to anything coming from the outside. But it's there, and it's a challenge, and it's head coach. That's why you get paid to deal with things like that.
Mike, as someone who's been through it, I mean, you have the unique perspective, unlike so many other people in this world, of being a former head coach in the NFL, but also head coach of the Browns. They are looking for another head coach right now. The second interviews are underway. If you had a moment alone with the next head coach of the Browns, what's one piece of advice you'd give him, knowing what you know now a decade later?
One piece. Let's see. No, I think it's be true to yourself. Trust your gut. That you have to surround yourself with people that you can have ultimate trust in, and have the ability to delegate. I think that's one of the mistakes I made, is that you feel like there were so many issues that around the building that you wanted to get right and get corrected or get done a certain way. And it really pulls you away from football. And that was, the analogy I've always made is you go from being a coordinator, where you're essentially a professor, a master teacher, and then all of a sudden now you go to be the head coach. You're now the principal. So it goes from being about 80-20, 90-10 football to flipping. Because everything involved with the program from A to Z comes across your desk. I can't tell you how many times I said, I have to deal with this, but you do as a head coach. I mean, it's something that you want to make sure that and hopefully whatever job you're stepping into, that there's a strong base there as far as the other departments. Whether it's the training room, the equipment room, PR, nutritionist, the food part of it, the travel part of it, dealing with with the personnel department, all the different structures within that. Those are all things that are always pulling pulling you away from what you're paid to do, what you're an expert at, which is coaching football.
If your best friend your whole life was interviewing for this job, would you tell him to continue with the second interview, or would you say, man, you be careful with that one?
Absolutely.
Maybe it's unfair to ask you that. I know.
Yeah, it's one of 32. I mean, it's not like the Browns can't be successcul. It's not like it's a death sentence. I mean, look at Kevin's tenure, the success that he had. I just think it's but you have to go into it knowing what the problems are, what holds this team back, and address those. Because I think if you just kind of go in blind and thinking you can kind of run things the way maybe you've done or you've seen it done at other places, that you'll probably run into some roadblocks. So I think it's important to just have an understanding. And I think the biggest thing is who you hire. I learned a long time ago. I mean, you can change the building and facilities are great and all that. If you want to change culture, change the people. And I think you got to surround yourself with people that have the same mentality as you, that love to win but despise losing.
Coach, is Jimmy Haslam a hindrance? Does he make it harder to win there?
Yeah, I don't want to. I think I think hindrance is a strong word. I mean, he wanted to be involved. I mean, we met on a regular basis. I just think it's not just Jimmy. I just think it's true across all of professional sports. It's such a unique profession that a lot of that the owners aren't necessarily experts in what they own. I mean, if you look at somebody who's the CEO of an accounting firm, more than likely they came up through the ranks as a CPA. Right. But you see these guys that become owners or men or women that become owners of professional sports teams, and they're not experts in it. So the one thing Jimmy did almost to a flaw was he sought information out, and he listened to a lot of people. And in my opinion, it might have been too many people. You get so many opinions, and usually somebody suggesting continuity is the most boring route to go. So that where I think things ran astray when I was there was the big push to go to analytics. There were some people in the organization went and visited the Sixers and thought they had the trust the process and the greatest plan ever. I had more of an old school mentality that I felt like analytics is a tool, but the analogy was, hey, I think it's the tail, it's not the dog. And I think there was a push there in the building that they kind of wanted the analytics to have a much bigger role.
Well, you were vindicated on that one.
I think so.
You've been vindicated and exonerated of your thoughts. Yeah, we will agree with that. There's another guy that Udinsky. He is being interviewed for the head coaching job. For me, as a guy who looks at him and the way he explains the game of football, I think he has an edge. He has a youthfulness to him. I think he's innovative. You've coached with him and been around him a little bit. Give our audience a little insight about who he is as a coach and some of the things that he's done that makes him an intriguing candidate.
Yeah, my history with the Udinsky family goes back a long way. We're from the same hometown. We went to the same high school. I played youth basketball with his dad. We won the Doylestown Athletic Association, I think, under 11 championship. I showed him I showed him the picture one day.
Coach Pettine had some handles.
Damn.
You was out there breaking people off, Coach Pettine. I know you had no game like that.
Hey, I was in range when I walked in the gym. Unfortunately, when I played,
that's my kind of coach.
There was no 3-point line when I played. That's
true.
That was the issue. Not to date myself there, but Grant is a tremendous football mind. And I became aware of him. I coached at North Penn High School back in the day, and the staff there had his brother as their quarterback, and got to talking and knowing the family that Grant had gotten involved in college football, and then he had gotten into the NFL with Carolina. So when I went to Minnesota, it was a no-brainer for me to recommend him to Kevin O'Connell. And it was more, his first job was really more as kind of like the admin that would do, like a head coach's assistant, but that would still do a lot of football stuff. And that role evolved very quickly. But Kevin really wanted to go another direction with it. And I was just like, listen, jump on a Zoom with them, spend 5 minutes, and you'll see what we're talking about. So he did, and Grant got hired and did a great job and was really a huge part of our offensive success those first couple of years in Minnesota, and justifiably so. Got had a bunch of OC interviews and got the job at Jacksonville. Did a great job there. So it's not a surprise to me. People are going to look at his youth, but then there's other comparisons of guys that young. But when it comes to identifying coaches, and people have asked me about this, is there's no one thing. To me, it's an it factor, and Grant has it.
I guess from my perspective, Coach, I'm just worried that the Browns need such a huge culture change now. There's no set answer at quarterback. The offense is a total disaster at the moment, talent-wise. I'm just worried that his youth and lack of high-level coaching experience, that to be a head coach, I just feel like, how can he be ready for that at such a young age? But you think he is?
I do. I mean, it's people look at it and say, well, it might be early, but then again, most NFL coaching staffs have well over 20 coaches. I mean, I think that would be a big part of who does he surround himself with, coordinators, on both sides of the ball. You can certainly work around it. Being a head coach is you're not on an island. You're going to draw from the experience of the staff that you bring in. So it's not like it can't be done. I mean, but you just look at it on paper, you'll make that observation. But if it doesn't happen for him this year, it's going to happen at some point, and I think he'll be outstanding wherever he goes.
Coach, speaking of staffs, we were looking up some of your staffs while you were here at Cleveland.
It's crazy.
It's a who's who of guys who have turned out to have pretty darn successful careers. You have 3 current NFL head coaches that were on your staff, and Kyle Shanahan, Aaron Glenn, and Jeff Hafley, Mike McDaniel, Anthony Weaver, Mike LaFleur, Chris Tabor. The list goes on and on. Did you know how good of a staff that was in the moment? And did you see all of these guys having the careers they eventually have gone on to have?
Of course I did. I hired him. No, I obviously had no. I just knew I hired quality coaches. I mean, it's such an important thing, and I think that's where a lot of people don't realize when you're interviewing for head coaching jobs is you can have a great interview, but if your list of assistant coaches of guys you want to hire is not good, then that's you're really diminishing your chances of getting a job. But when I look to hire those guys, I mean, they're all very different, but there's a lot of common threads there. And I think one of the biggest things is none of those guys are afraid to have a hard conversation. And I think that's what's missing in football today. Missing probably in a lot of other places. But, the ability to be able to look somebody in the eye and say, your idea of what's good enough does not meet my idea of what's good enough. And it needs to get better. As long as it's done in a respectful manner. I just think over time, I just think that's become, the tough conversation has become a lost art. I mean, or it's frowned upon. You want to bring up something that's going to rock the boat a little bit. You get a label that I don't know if I can necessarily. It starts with an A, that I don't know if I can necessarily say. But
yeah.
I just think that's what's missing. I mean, football is a tough sport for tough people, and you got to be able to look people in the eye and tell them when what they're doing isn't good enough. And as long as, like I said, as long as it's done respectfully and you have a path for them to get to where they should be. And that was something I always looked for in coaches, somebody that wouldn't shy away from having those conversations.
That's kind of why I wanted Brian Flores to be the next coach of the Browns, but obviously he's not interested or they're not interested. I don't know. I know he has that reputation. You worked with him. He was tough on the players in Miami, and I think he's been vindicated. What's your thoughts on Coach Flores?
Probably not many that I would prefer to share. I mean, we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of things, and that's why I spent this past year on offense. I was there in 24 and 25. we're 23 and 24 on
Yeah.
defense. So, I'll take the high road on that one.
Okay, well, let me ask you another question you may want to take the high road on, too. I don't know. But we've talked with Brian Hoyer a couple of times. And obviously, your first season here, you guys got off to a great start. I remember when you beat the Bengals in that night game. And
7-4, baby.
we jumped on the air, and I was like, the Browns are going to the playoffs. The drought's over. And we all thought that your hand was forced to play Johnny Manziel. Is that true?
No. It wasn't. I mean, would have weekly conversations with ownership and with personnel.
Yeah.
And we loved coaching Brian, but if you look at it statistically, when I said you want to give the team the best chance to excel, there were some issues with turnovers and just some of the decision making on plays that we just got to the point where we felt like we needed to make a change.
When you're in that position, you're the head coach. I'm curious, because obviously you have to know the pulse of the locker room and what your guys are thinking about, who they believe in, who they're going to go to war for, and all of that. How do you take that pulse? How do you kind of have a feel for? I mean, obviously you're probably talking to your veteran leaders on the football team, but because we have a similar situation now. Like this year, we had Shedeur. Everyone wanted to see Shedeur, but you had Flacco, you had Gabriel playing, and all these things that were going on. But there was this push to play the young kid who everybody wanted to see, and it was very similar to when you were here in those 14, 15 with Manziel. Everyone wanted to see Johnny play, Johnny football, the money signs. It was exciting. Look, I'm not gonna lie, it was exciting until he played. And that's how it is. But the question, I guess, I'm long-winded question is, how do you know that it's the right move for your locker room?
Well, I think most NFL coaches, I was one of them, and Kevin O'Connell's been one in Minnesota. Is that some people will do it informally. Ours was more formal. Minnesota's was more formal, where you basically have however you want to refer to it, but a leadership council. Yeah. Where maybe you have it's the most senior player, whether it's in every position room or however you want to identify it, whether it's a handful of guys that you feel like would have a pretty good pulse of it. And you meet with them on a regular and you talk to them. And I think the other source of information that I think is that hopefully most coaches use is the weight room. The strength and conditioning guys usually have a really good pulse they're around those guys every day. They have great conversations with them. They hear a lot of stuff. The players, tend to trust those guys because they're helping them take care of their bodies. And those guys usually have pretty good insight. Not that we're looking for them, to give up, snitch type information, but those were guys that you at least wanted to talk to say, hey, listen, what is the pulse? How are these guys feeling? What's the attitude this week? Do we need to scale back practice? Just those types of questions that's great. If you have a really good strength staff, they can provide information like that to you.
Did you know Johnny was in Vegas before the media found out that last game? Can you give us something? Can you give us something on? No, it doesn't matter now.
You're picking at some scabs here. I'm going to have to see if I rack my brain.
Coach. First off, I will say this.
To be honest with you, I think we did.
Bull and I, by the way, Mike. Sorry to interrupt you. Bull and I have been the biggest Mike Pettine defenders since you were fired.
We're the only coach the Browns have fired in the more than 15 years we've been covering the team that we thought got a raw deal by the team. The only coach.
So with that being said,
and I'm honored by that.
We're on your side.
We're on your side.
Yeah.
Well, and Bull, I'm honored by that because you're the self-proclaimed king of petty. So
100% the king of petty. Yeah.
You can't. That means a lot to me.
Yeah. It should.
Petty LeBoul.
It should. I'm curious. Do you? I'm pretty sure you guys. I mean, you both coached a long time. You never coached with Jim Schwartz, but unless I got that wrong. But But you must know him all these years in the league. Because he's obviously in the mix. He's done a great job.
Trying to get some Manziel dirt here, and you want to ask about
shorts?
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Well, he don't want to talk about it. It's old news.
You want to let him move on?
Yeah, we're gonna let him move on.
Just blink twice.
Yeah. I want you to the thoughts on Jim Schwartz.
All right, fine. We'll let you off the hook, Mike.
No, all good. I'm a fan of Jim's. I've known Jim for a long time. We had connections back in the days when I was with the Ravens. So
yeah,
I think he's an outstanding coach, great mind. I've learned a lot from him, having conversations with him, and watching the film that they put out. But I think he's a bit of a unicorn nowadays because, as I said, this is a tough sport for tough people, and he's not afraid. He's very open about having those hard conversations, which unfortunately can rub some people the wrong way. But it's a results-based business, and Jim's proven over time he can get things done.
Coach, you talk about having tough conversations. As a defensive-minded head coach, and that's where you spend your time, and obviously you said you moved to the offensive side of the football as well. I'd love to get your insight on the state of quarterback play in the NFL. It seems as if the quarterback play is a lot up and down. You haven't seen the level of sustained greatness that you've seen, and I guess the NFL is kind of tough. It's kind of hard to play the position. That's one thing, but your thought on, the way quarterback play is taught, the mentality, and what do you think the state of the game is at the quarterback position as you watch these NFL playoffs?
Well, I think that the game has evolved for quarterbacks over time. It's well documented, but back when I first got started in the league, most quarterbacks were what you would consider the statue type. That they weren't going anywhere, that you kind of knew where they were going to be in the pocket. And, the Mike Vicks of the world were such an anomaly. And now it's flipped completely where in order to be successful at quarterback in the NFL, it's no secret, is you have to be able to extend the play. And that's the hardest thing on a defense. When you start to prep for an opponent, the first thing you're going to ask is, can this guy extend the play? How well does he move? Does he scramble? Does he throw well on the run? Do we have to put a spy on him? Because you can do a great job defending the original play, but when it breaks down and the quarterback can get out and make plays, with his feet, or whether it's finding somebody on the move, and they've the offenses do a great job at coaching up receivers on how to get open when the quarterback gets out. That I think that has to be a part of today's game for when you take into account when you're evaluating a quarterback. Also, the quarterback, whether it's designed quarterback run, as long as it's done in a healthy manner, that you can run some of those runs without really exposing him to some. But that really creates a problem, for defense, because a while ago it was the wildcat, so it was almost where you felt like, hey, they're getting an extra blocker at the point of attack. Defenses adjusted to that, I thought, pretty quickly, but then you get the same thing when you can have design quarterback run. So those are things that I think have to be a huge part of quarterback nowadays. But I think you have to be able to be adjustable from a coaching standpoint. If you have a veteran guy that can handle a lot of information, that can process quickly, that's great. But if you have a guy that's essentially a rookie or is a rookie that you have to, you might not be able to go to the depths of the playbook that you want to go to, that you have to do things that he's confident in, and that still at least have a chance to be successful. So I think as a quarterback coach or as an offensive coordinator, that I think adaptability to who you have is a key thing.
Coach, last thing for me, real quick. I'm sure you watched all the great playoff games this weekend, or at least have seen all the highlights. The Bills game, the controversial Brandon Cooks interception, no interception, catch, no catch. What did you think it was? If you had to guess, or do you not even know? Because I don't know what it is.
Well, the way I look at it is if the defender wasn't there, would he have completed the catch? Like that's where you kind of have to go, because it's. If the ball was coming out and the defender just happened to be there and absorbed it and caught it, then it's a turnover. I thought the one the following day, the Devontae Adams one,
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty clear that was that was a that he caught that, but yeah, and that's tough, and it's easy when you're going frame by frame, watching a replay, but when it's real time, and I just think there's still probably a little bit too much gray, and what's a catch and what isn't a catch.
Yeah.
You fall back to the 100 guys in a bar rule. Hey, did that look like a catch to them? But it's tough to define, and that's why I think that as much criticism officiating takes nowadays, I think some of it is they're limited by how the rules are laid out.
Coach, let's end it with I got a couple of rapid fire questions, quick answers. You ready?
Sure.
He looks freaking thrilled, man.
All right. Josh Gordon, if he'd stayed out of trouble off the field, would he have been a Hall of Famer?
Yes.
Better job right now, head coach of the Buffalo Bills, head coach of the Baltimore Ravens?
Ooh,
Bills.
Bills, going with the Bills. When you were with the Browns and you were in an alley and you were going to get into a fight, you had to pick one player on the Browns team you coached either year to get into that fight with you, be your partner in this fight to fight off the other guys. Who are you picking?
Desmond Bryant.
Ooh,
Bryant,
what a
that's
name.
a good one.
Mr. Neck.
Favorite restaurant in Northeast Ohio?
Ooh, that's a tough one. There's a lot.
Don't piss off your wife.
That is a tough one. There's some great ones.
Yeah, this is a tough one.
Yeah.
Is Reds still downtown? Or
It
that
is.
gone?
Yeah.
That's the choice.
Yeah.
I'll go with Reds.
Cool. Good spot.
Coach, we appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
It was
we
great to have
appreciate
you
you.
on.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you for joining us. We'll talk to you again, hopefully.
Great guys. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, Mike Pettine, good
Thanks,
to chat
Coach.
with him.
Some terrific insight from
Yeah.
Coach.
Awesome insight.
The reason I didn't follow up and push on the Johnny thing is because he gave you the answer without saying it.
Yeah, I know.
He gave you the answer
I know.
without saying it.
I know.
But, man, he does not like Brian Flores. Ooh, that was interesting.
Yeah,
Very interesting.
I love that he gave that. Like, he didn't have to say the bad things. He just it was clear he didn't like him.
That's how adults.
He didn't wanna-
That's how
he didn't wanna
adult.
badge
That's how
him,
adults handle
But
situations.
he wasn't a phony about it.
No.
I like that. That was
no,
wow.
no, he didn't have to go like below the belt.
No.
He kept his gloves up.
Yeah.
But I wasn't expecting that though.
Yeah, that was not.
I like to go
yeah.
in the interview. Oh, okay.
Wow, I like that.
I set up.
I was like, okay. So let me find out that y'all was fist fighting. No, I'm playing.
Yeah.
But no, hey, coaches, those people who are a certain personality
Yeah.
type, I just know their
I wonder why that is. Because Flores and Pettine seem like the same type of bad, tough guy coaches.
Do you think tough guys, when tough guys,
Yeah, that's true.
When tough guys have an issue, tough guys got an issue.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it ain't like that one gonna shy away from the other.
I wonder if they got into like a fight or something.
Hey, he did say Jim Schwartz was a tough guy.
Damn. All right, Mike.
We got some super chats, so we're going to just go a little past. I
yeah,
told
no
K-Mike-
overtime. We'll just go.
I
little
told
extra.
people upstairs, so we're good. I just got to
Good.
stop the stream.
Good.
But we're going to read as many of these as we can. Marjan Jammy says that Prince's raspberry beret cloud suit that G. Bush has on.
Raspberry beret.
He got that from a thrift store too, a secondhand store. I
Really?
always like that. He said
James Mace
Savers?
says, Dustin, is it true if a player in the NFL gets called for a penalty in a game, they fine you and take it out of your game check?
Gets called for a penalty.
No, I think it's just a personal.
like
No.
a personal foul.
If
Yeah.
it's
If you get fined,
if it's
right?
a
Yeah.
fine, yeah.
Did you ever get a fine? Probably not, right?
No, I've been warned. I've been warned by the uniform police.
So I heard the uniform police stay at the door. They're at the door when you walk out, and they're like,
Yeah, and then there's also another guy on the field.
So they give you one warning.
They give you two.
2 warnings.
"There's like, don't wear that."
All right,
And-
next,
okay.
Smooth says, G. Bush, I'm 6'6", 250. Where can I get a fit like that without having to order it online?
Summit Mall.
Yeah, that's true. You're a hard guy. Yeah.
You gonna have it's hard. He's actually taller.
You got the big and tall man.
Yeah, he's taller than me. See, I'm trying to slim down to get into the regulars. Like I'm trying to do the 38s. You know
It's
what I'm saying?
easier. I have them the hardest. When
Yeah.
you're short and fat, that's the
yeah.
hardest.
He's Bull has the Huskies, like because he has to have the wide, but
You'd rather be a tall.
32s.
You'd rather be a tall boy than a 12-ounce beer can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
you can at least get
Short
him
and
off.
stout.
When
Yeah.
like DXL, these big and tall man stores, they don't
they don't
cater to short guys.
Big dogs. You got to
Cater to Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, right.
You got to find a tailor. So no,
Yeah.
he got to go online, dog.
Yeah.
All right,
gotta
next
go.
one. Nick Coupon says, G. Bush, what do you think about Udinsky interviewing for the Bills head coaching job? Feels like the Browns are dragging their feet, letting him slip away.
Hey.
Letting him slip away.
If
the Bills want him, he's going to the Bills.
If they offer him minimum wage, he's taking that job.
By the way, on the way in, I was listening to WGR, which is the Buffalo radio station, and they were having a press conference with Terry Pagula and
He was saying
Bean.
some stuff.
What's that?
Pagula said some stuff.
Yeah, he's crazy, dude. Like
He said some stuff.
Like
He was annoyed at McDermott, right?
I don't know that. I mean, we've got an owner here that's a little sus.
Yeah.
But he seems a little sus too.
He was wilding out.
Well, he was just like, I mean, these billionaires, when you get them in front of a microphone, they don't care.
Yeah.
I think there's a reason owners don't talk because they are honest to a fault.
Because they say, Jerry Jones says stupid
There's-
stuff.
there-
They don't live in reality.
They're the
like
only
the rest
people
of us.
in the world that don't have there's no consequences.
There's no consequences.
Like they're like, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, go.
All right, next one. DB Dog says, stats do not always tell the whole story. Look at Mendoza's stats in the Natty. Not impressive, yet many said he solidified himself as the number one pick with that game.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Well, you know, until that guy said stats don't tell the whole story, I never heard that nor knew that before.
Is that you being facetious?
It is.
James May says, G. Bush, what's a reasonable price for a quality haircut these days? The internet streets are talking about $100 for a haircut being outrageous.
Yeah, bro.
How much do you pay for a haircut?
So shout out to my barber Jason and Phenomenal in Lakewood.
I pay $50.
So what I do is I think it's $40, but I always tip good. Always tip. You know what I'm saying?
Mine's less
50
than that. I
50
tip
plus
great.
Yeah, tip.
I give 100% tip.
Yeah, you know
But-
what I'm saying?
How much is your haircut?
I don't even know.
Like
I don't
$10?
know.
It's 35.
No. Like 25, 30. How much was it, Anthony?
Mine going there is 35.
Now, and plus if you
I
do
don't
So
know.
you give 70?
I give 100% tip.
If-
Whatever she charges me, I just give her 100%. Usually.
Yeah, I did the same. So
if it's
Anthony, I like
appointment
that.
only, you should pay a little more because
I do appointment
Because
because
of-
she's been this Jen you were at her shop.
Yeah. Shout out
She's
to her.
been cutting my hair for like almost the entire time I'm living here.
Yeah.
She's a friend, so I take.
And plus, they taking you while they could be taking walk-ins because there's
Right.
you book for that.
She'll
time.
bring.
Yeah.
She,
I don't go to a walk-in type place.
Yeah, no walk-in.
She takes great care of me because like I'll go there like every other week to just get a shave.
Yeah.
She don't even charge me.
Yeah, so
best haircut I've ever gotten.
Right? She's awesome, isn't she?
Yeah, no, like it's the best my hair's
Yeah, I
ever looked.
recommended her to Anthony.
The most important people in your life that are men,
Yeah.
your butcher, your person that cuts your hair,
Yeah.
and the person that's coming to do your landscaping.
That's big.
All
That's a
right,
big
the
three.
next three are all tied to the debate we got out into the beginning of the show about
I was waiting for those people to tell me I'm a horrible human being.
So I'm just going to basically combine
Yeah.
them into one thing. So the three people are Desmond Johnson, Bill Rodewalt, and the Power of I Am, all similar sentiments. Bull, do you do your own research to say that the young woman's stats were false, or are you just going off what somebody told you? EPA is not a perfect stat. It takes into account of other things. And Jason wrote an article last week saying Sanders' metrics weren't good, but what is correctable by next season that mirrored what Leah said. Is he without credibility?
It didn't mirror what she said. Jason's the one who gave me plenty of information stating the inaccuracies of her report. So I trust Jason. You know, go do your own research on vaccines too. I'm sure you'll find the right research because non-scientists have a lot of luck with that.
We still talk about vaccines.
Bill Rodewalt said Belichick had a 45% winning percentage in his first stop. And Newtick said Belichick, as the Browns head coach, 36 wins, 44 losses, no ties.
I said since 2000 when I gave that
That
stat
was before
earlier.
2000.
Yeah, you're
Dawson Lowe says, I hope we beat the Falcons by 30. Sanders throws for 400 plus, and by the end of the game, Kevin throws up the wrist. Miles only has one touchdown, and I was there.
Hey, hold on. We play them next year?
Yeah.
Oh, this is crazy. They got Baker 2 times and us. Are we at the Dome?
I don't know.
And look up the home road. Is
Oh, we
Atlanta
at the
coming here or
Dome.
we at Atlanta?
By the way, listen, people in Atlanta, I seen DC Young fly, they spazzing out. They going crazy. They said, I don't know. I'll tell you this, man. People are
Atlanta comes here. Stefanski comes back to Cleveland.
This is gonna be a good.
So that means they're playing.
Ooh.
They're playing against Baker too, right?
Yeah, Browns are playing against
They
Baker.
play the South, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, listen.
You got Baker and Stefanski on the schedule next
Hey, Ben,
year.
I need the Browns to be competitive next year. I can't be having
Percentage chance they're competitive next year.
I can't have Stefanski coming here smoking us like that. That is not. I'm going. Listen, I'm gonna be hot.
If they were playing right now, the Falcons would be favored.
Oh, of course. Why?
Of course.
Of course. We don't have linemen. None.
Desmond Johnson says you can't send a text to voicemail. Bull, you don't know ish.
What?
Can
Text to
DeKerm says
voicemail.
Bull stops being emotional and screaming across the room.
Okay.
That's what he does. We all
Jordan
emotional.
D'Agostaro says Dustin sitting there watching a tennis match.
He loves tennis.
Look, back and forth.
It was volley.
Smooth STP says to expect an African American GM to just bring in random coaches to fulfill the Rooney Rule is wild work. He's going to be respectful.
Here's the thing. I'm going to say this: the Rooney Rule thing is
Well intentioned.
it's
right?
well intended, but it make you look crazy.
It's
because
yeah.
it just like it's like, how do you feel as a candidate? Like, that's like, yo, like, let's bring G. Bush in. We ain't gonna hire him for this show, but we just got to hire a minority. We got to interview him. And
The only thing I'll say about it is that it may lead to an opportunity for somebody that maybe they didn't like. Maybe I know it.
They may stumble across somebody they never.
understand
Yeah.
If I were a coach and I felt like that's the only reason they were bringing me in, I'd be pissed about that. I get it.
Yeah.
But maybe there's a guy who, like, you know, we got to fill the Rooney Rule. We don't really know this guy that well. Let's talk to him. And maybe he gets that job because he did great in the interview. Or maybe he gets another job because of that.
The guy I felt the worst for was Jim Caldwell for about 5 years.
He was always the guy.
He was the dude.
Yeah.
They was like, hey, we got to have a Rooney Rule.
Let's
bring Jim Caldwell
Well,
in.
it used to be just one, and now it's two.
Yeah, I'm
Minority
like,
candidates.
dang, it kind of sucks, but it's well intended.
If you're the candidate and you shouldn't think that way. You should be like, okay, no matter why or how I'm getting this job interview,
Yeah.
I'm going to make the most of it.
Right.
I heard Kalani Sitake, the coach at BYU, talk about when he interviewed back when he got the first gig there.
Yeah.
Because he was a former player and
Yeah.
all these things, and he was like, I didn't take it serious. They're just interviewing me because I'm an alumni.
Yeah.
He said his wife told him, he's like, no, you have the worst attitude.
Yeah, right.
Go in this job, like you're going to get the job.
And I think the
And
guys
he,
who do this
and he
do.
got it.
Yeah,
He said it was like the best thing ever. But anyway,
Yeah.
made me think about these guys.
Yeah.
Maybe because you're a minority, you have an opportunity. Well, then take advantage of it.
Yes.
You should always put your best foot forward, no matter what
absolutely.
it is. And like I always say, make them rap. Hey, you gonna have to make a decision after I leave. Like, damn, I thought we was gonna bring him in here, but he was talking that ish. He was talking that talk. I like him.
All right, next one. Dion Montgomery says, McNuggets, I thought you would have showed the Leah Cammarano video. Did you watch it? I'm interested in what you thought. None of the numbers are right. Like, they're wrong, so I wasn't going to play a video that's just objectively false.
I'm not sure if they're all wrong, but
they're not right.
yeah.
They're not right. And we have confirmation from the Live Sports Bureau and True Media that say these numbers are not accurate. So, no, I didn't want to play
We
it.
probably shouldn't have
false
spent
video.
10 minutes on it.
Well, I didn't think it was going to be 10 minutes, full disclosure. I thought
Yeah.
it was going to be a quick reaction.
Well, you know how those go,
K-Sto
Mikey.
Yeah.
says,
Now you learned a lesson.
invite me on the show to K-Sto. And then Final Orbit says, Mark Twain once said there are 3 kinds of lies in this world. Lies, damn lies, and statistics.
I like, I
That's
like
true. He
that.
did say
Shout out to Mark.
Was it Mark Twain? I've heard that saying before. I didn't know it was Mark Twain. By the way, I went to Mark Twain Junior High School. What do you think of that?
I don't care.
For the gifted and talented. For the gifted and talented, Mike. You had to make it. You didn't make it. That's why you're jealous.
Under his breath, he goes,
Yeah, I don't care.
I heard him.
oh, I know. It's good.
He's
Funny.
just jealous because he didn't get accepted into Mark Twain Junior High School for the gifted and talented.
I certainly did not. And last but not least, it's
Yeah.
not a super chat, but Miles
Was your
officially
talent being
named
loud?
the Pro Football
Yes.
Writers Association Defensive Player of the Year.
Pushing people off a seat with using only my body.
And since it was named by writers, it absolutely does. Well, I'm just playing. Yes, it counts. Yeah.
What was that?
Miles won the Pro Football Writers Association Defensive Player of the Year award.
Wow, that's a shocker.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah,
Big Cavs rivalry game tonight too.
what? Who is it?
Rivalry week in the NBA, baby. Who do you think they're?
Is that really a thing?
Yeah, and it cracks me up.
Pistons?
I was confused.
We did this topic last year. We didn't do it today.
They have
'cause
no-
We did it last year. Who do you think and this is legitimately rivalry
Yeah.
week in the NBA? This is the Cavs rivalry.
Cavs don't
game.
have a rival.
So who do you think they
It would have been the Warriors a few years ago.
Not the Warriors.
The
not the Pistons.
The Pacers?
Not the Pacers.
Pistons.
Not the Pistons. Not
Bulls.
Golden State. Not the Bulls.
They're never going to get this.
The Bucks?
It's the Battle of the Ball brothers. The Charlotte Hornets are the Cavs.
In other words, it's two teams that don't have a rival, so we're just going to force them
That
together.
is terrible.
So they play tonight. We'll react to that tomorrow.
National TV?
None of the Cleveland teams have a rival really in any sport. Except for Ohio State, of course. There's no, and what I mean by that is a lot of fans will say, well, what about the Steelers? The Steelers don't look at the Browns as a rival.
Or the Ravens.
No, none of them look at the Browns as a rival. And then the Guardians, they're good, but I don't know who their rival
Tigers?
is.
Yeah, would you not consider the Tigers?
Not really.
Baseball rivalries is kind of like,
I mean,
it's not like y'all
when they do rivalry games, they play Cincinnati.
That's a good point.
You know?
I mean, you can't be a
And
rival in
Detroit
different.
plays Toronto in those rivalry games.
Well, although that's not fair because the Cubs play the White Sox, and the Cubs'
Cardinals.
rival is the Cardinals.
There's only
So-
really a couple of baseball joints. It's like the Cubs and the Cardinals.
You got the Cubs, Cardinals. You got
Yeah.
the Dodgers, Padres.
You got the Yankees and
Yankees,
the
Red Sox. You also got the Yankees, Mets.
Yankees Mets is a real
Yankees,
rivalry,
Mets, and then Philadelphia and
The Mets also.
yeah, right. So you ain't really got too many.
And
of them.
Atlanta and the Mets, I think of as a rival.
Actually, that is
Cubs
one.
and Brewers is also a rival.
So all national teams that have
I
all
guess,
baseball
I
series,
guess
cities.
the Tigers maybe.
I think the
problem
Tigers is the closest one to any of the
I
Canadian
do.
sports.
I would agree.
Yeah.
The Tigers is the closest
Because the Tigers don't like the Guardians either. There's a back.
Yeah,
Because
there's a
for it to
little
be a
bit.
rivalry, it has to go both ways.
Yeah, they had a little bit with the White Sox there when Jose ended Tim Anderson's career, but the White Sox have never really been good when the Guardians have been good. So it's just kind of weird there. We'll see you tomorrow on the Ultimate
Peace.
Cleveland Sports Show.
Deuces!